Was I did it again. I apologize. But everybody, welcome to the Boo Breakdown. I am JB, the sports guy, and yes, I did pause my game to be here. And now I pass it to the one and only Jordan Taylor.
It's the boot breakdown. It's round one. Reactions, thoughts, concerns, the whole 9 yards. The field has shrunk. We go into round two. You got teams that were on a bye starting to enter the playing field. Welcome to the bracket. There's teams that are still dancing, and they will be involved this coming week. Round two starting to shape up to be a dandy. They got some matchups all across the state of Louisiana. That's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of North versus South. A lot of teams playing in the same districts going to rematch. It's a lot of fun. It's the boot breakdown, and we are here to bring it to you. For myself, Jordan Taylor, JB the Sports Guy, Lamar, and Nick, we say get ready, buckle in. It's going to be a great show tonight. JB the Sports Guy, round two is here.
Round two is here. And this is when the contenders separate themselves from their pretenders. And those who win in round two, then we say each one of those teams are contenders to compete for the state championship inside the Superdome.
Lamar, everyone's trying to get to Turkey Week. It's that time of the year.
Absolutely. And that's the most important time. Everybody loves to be playing football right around that time where all their families can come in. People from outside the state, Arkansas, Mississippi, come in there to see their baby play. Hopefully, one more week and try to get closer and closer to that dome.
Nick Campbell, the dogs are still around the state of Louisiana. There's teams right now that do have their eyes on New Orleans, but they can't look ahead.
Oh yeah, and that's what it's all about. When you break down and you talk about a bracket, they got that thing that people overlook. It's called regionals. You get to a regional matchup, man. You could take all the film you want to take out. It's all about who you are and what you're doing good at this particular time.
Yeah. The teams that will enter the playing field this coming week that had first round buys. We start with JB. What do you think is some things that you thought how they approached the bye week? Some of them have been there, done that. Some of them brand new to it. So your thoughts of how certain teams around the state of Louisiana might have approached the bye week, knowing that a lot of them have done it every year. This might be some of them's first time.
Well, it is some of them first time. Let's talk about Loyola Prep. This is their first time having a bye since I don't know when. So I would say if there are coaches who are accustomed to who were accustomed to being on teams that always got a bye, then they would know how to structure the practice during the bye week and knowing what to do. If not, then it's something brand new to them and something they got to figure out that hopefully works to their advantage. As far as teams that have done this numerous times, like Ruston, Destrehan, Lafayette Christian, Dunham, just to say a few of those schools, this is nothing new to them. The players know what they have to do and how to prepare. So it's not much that the coaches have to say to those players because they know how to do it already.
Lamar, when you have this type of situation where teams are going into bye weeks, you still see the ones that get it every year are still going out to watch their opponent in the upcoming week. They're not just sitting waiting on the film. You see the whole coaching staff, you see players go and watch that matchup, no matter if this has been for 4 or 5 years in a row they got to buy.
Absolutely. And the thing is always to be prepared during the playoffs here. And of course, if they're not watching the games live, they're probably watching the games on your local streaming platforms, such as Under the Lights and also the Hash It Out Show. Just had to get that plug in there. But to also look at it like that too is always trying to be prepared. And even at this stage here, no matter how far that they are, whoever their opponent is going to be, they're willing to make that drive just to get that extra edge to see what can they possibly do against other opponents.
And finally, to Nick, do you think to yourself that first week, are they prepping for two teams? Are they worrying about their self? Are they gearing it up now to worry about one team, or do you think they approach the bye week just let's worry about ourselves, let's get healthy, let's make sure we don't lose anyone in these next 2 weeks?
Yes. Veteran coaches don't they don't deploy going out to games unless it's a local game. They really, if it's an opponent that they're not familiar with, they trust the film, and they go by continue to keep their guys in a weight room and taking care of these little knick-knack injuries. I had a chance to stop in at Riverside one day this week and talk with Coach Lee to see how they was preparing, but I caught them at the tail end of their quarterback club, man. And it's just the same old message for people that have been there. Get your bodies right, taking care of your bodies, because we're about to go on a tournament run that's 4 games deep.
Yeah, for sure. So all those teams will enter the playing field this week, but we did have some round one matchups, about 80 something of them. And we saw some teams season in, but we also saw a lot of teams punch their ticket to round number 2. When you look at the bracket in its entirety, you look back at round 1 and you think to yourself, what really caught your eye? What was your assessments as you closed the door on round 1, JB?
My assessments were that the teams that were supposed to win won, except for a few. There were some shockers. Mm-hmm. One for sure, Barb, 26 seed Barb, upsetting 7 seed Northwood Shreve. A lot of people didn't see that coming, so that's a big time shocker. And we always expect a couple upsets in the first round. I mean, I believe it was West St. Mary defeating St. John, if I'm correct.
No, that was you're thinking of St. Mary's.
St. Mary's, yes, St. Mary's. Thank you. That was another upset. So you get a couple upsets here and there in the first round, but most of the teams that were the higher seeds won. But you get that certain upset, and that Barb, that 26 seed Barb defeating 7 seed Northwood Shreve, that is something that caught a lot of people's attention, especially now they're going up to play West Monroe.
Absolutely. Lamar, I have to shift gears back to you real quick. And I have to tell you, when JB says, yes, there were some unlikely upsets that happened in the 8 brackets. Well, Lamar, let me break it down to you. There was only one bracket that's going to give us a 1 through 16 field here in the regional rounds. So that's a Division 4 non-select bracket. You get 1 versus 16, 2, 15, and the rest just play yourself out. If you know where I'm going with that. No higher seeds made it to regional round for this bracket. Every other one, we have at least one or more of those teams that upset, and we'll go play one of these higher seeds now. Your thoughts on only one that we get all 1 through 16?
Well, I've kind of felt like I knew there was probably going to be maybe an upset there. I mean, I thought maybe the Quincy probably would have had a good chance of possibly getting that upset against Vinton because they had to face against each other the second time. But that's just usually how unpredictable the playoffs are. For the most part, you're always going to want to get that upset here. Like you said about Barb getting that win against West Monroe. That was a big upset there. St. Mary's getting that big upset going down to St. John's and getting the upset there. So always you're going to whine to get that one upset there. Now, I think in Division 4 non-select, we kind of had a little bit more of we knew who has separated themselves from the others, especially from the teams that were seeded 5 through 16 compared to the teams that they had to face against. So we had a little bit of more separation there where we had a feeling that the gap is probably a little bit more defined at that point. And so that's probably the reason why it was a little bit more chalk in that side of the bracket there. But like you said, always we're going to have, it's always going to be unpredictable no matter what, because I mean, we're dealing with 14 to 17-year-old kids, and you just never know what may happen there.
Nick Campbell, 6 between every bracket. 6 teams that are in that 20 to 24, 20 to 28 threshold still survive another week. And Nick Campbell, there's a few of these 6 that might make their way to Turkey Week.
Oh yeah. It was quite surprising. I mean, when you look at it and you think about it, we talked about that calculator, right? Well, that calculator don't have no physical restraints on what the game gonna dictate. And you look at one, to be more specific, we can talk about the St. Martin Delta Charter. You know, I had a parent text me and say, "Oh man, Delta Charter beating St. Martin." I was not surprised, even though it was a 15-18 seed. We see the teams play a lot, and we see what kids are really serious about advancing to the next round, and that's important because some seasons are long season for some teams. Like some kids ready to pack it up and want to go play basketball right about now.
Shout out to St. Mary's getting a big win in round 1, the 21 seed. Shout out to Westminster of Lafayette, first win in school history in the playoffs, only a second-year program there. More of those 20 seeds to announce. Let's see. We got some more for you. Moving along with the show. We did say shout out to Barb, the highest seed still remaining, a 26 seed. They went into Northwood Shreveport. We knew the offense was really good. The LSU commit at baseball, 6 touchdowns on the ground. Incredible. They broke a school record for rushing touchdowns in a playoff game. Wassman gets the big win over Minden, the 21 seed. Shout out to Coach Duries over there with Wassman, year 1 coach, also getting it done there. What else we had for those brackets? Any other ones that I missed real quick before we move on? Oh, Kaplan. Kaplan went down the Pine. The most physical team won in that matchup, and the Pirates walked away with a win. They were the 20 seed. And that should do it. So congratulations to those teams still dancing. There was a lot of upsets from that 17 to 19 threshold also. So we'll talk about that a little later in the show. All 4 of us saw great football this week, guys. We want to know where you were at, what you saw, your takeaways, and your thoughts on when you see those teams going into round 2, or what's the ceiling for those teams. We'll start with JB, where you were at, what you saw, and what do you think moving forward for those teams?
No, well, Thursday, I was on the sideline for Riverdale versus Bonneville, and most of you know that was a Week 10 district championship rematch that was won by Bonneville. Well,
hey, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Every rematch that we saw this past week went the same way that it went in the regular season.
That is crazy. Wow.
Go ahead, JB.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that. But first play from scrimmage, 80 yards. Lance Simmons from Riverdale fakes the handoff to Myron Perrier and runs down the sideline. And if I sit here and tell you that was the only offense Riverdale produced the rest of the game, that was it. Yeah. Some of you might ask, well, where did the other 7 points come from? It was a kickoff return. Byron Perrier running back. Other than that, Riverdale's offense could not move the ball on Bonneville. Bonneville got a nice wide receiver named Raheem Williams. He had 3 receiving touchdowns, and he was pretty much the main factor to get it done against Riverdale. Bonneville won 28-14. They got to go down I-10 to play Turlings Catholic. They're going to have to play their best game ever to have a chance to beat Turlings. That's going to be a tough ball game for them. Friday night, we had the Hazard House Show game of the week, LB Landry Buccaneers versus the Northside Vikings. And pretty similar
thank you.
to.
And congratulations to you guys on a fantastic job. Well done.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Similar to Riverdale and Bono, first play, Landry scores on a quarterback run, like it, 70-something yards. Then Northside came back with 18 unanswered points. Fourth quarter, here comes LB Landry, and they retake the lead. They retake the lead, and then Northside drives down the field and scores a touchdown with 30 seconds left. Landry gets the ball, connects on the deep ball, and they had about 25 seconds left. And I think they are at their own 35, 40-yard line. Next play, somebody by the name of Peyton Boyd, no relation, gets the interception for Northside and seals the deal. Northside has to go play number 1 seed St. Charles Catholic. We talked to Coach Carter after the game. He says we played them last year. We are familiar with what they do. We're going to watch a lot of film on them. We're going to be ready, and we're going to be prepared for this game. So they're ready. They're confident. St. Charles Catholic, though, different beast. So let's see what happens with that ball game.
Yeah. Austin, I was talking about the 3 games this past week on week 10 that were district championship games, all went the same way in round 1. Yeah, I'd have to go and hunt down some of them games like the Eunice DeRitter, the Lake Arthur Welsh, the Manny Red River. I just, if you want me to go find 12 more for you, I will after the show. Moving along to Lamar Gafford. What were you at this week? Where were you at? What were you at? Wherever you want to go, spin it the way you want. I don't care. It's y'all show, not mine.
Well, I was at the Eagles desk at Holy Savior Menard on Friday. They took on Thomas Jefferson. Menard, pretty solid matchup there. They won 47-0. First off, I have to give a shout out to the TJ band. I mean, even though that they were getting blown out in that ball game, they were still loud and proud and ready. And so, I mean, they were playing like they were up 47-0. So
Crank
I have
the
to give
band
a
up,
shout
baby.
out to them. Absolutely. And so they were playing all the New Orleans tunes. So you had to give them that as well. I think for TJ, I mean, there was 2 plays that just unfortunately showcased what their night was all about. Their first drive, I mean, it was a tough, quarterback throws a pass, ball bounces off of the receiver's hands. Next thing you know is an interception. So then Menard then does counter on their 4th down where they get a touchdown. Peyton Purcell comes in, throws to Sam Mercado, and then was able to get a touchdown there. So already 7-0 for the Eagles. And then you go into the second quarter, start of the second quarter. It looked like TJ was going to get on the board. They had a 30-yard field goal with a chance to possibly make it. Unfortunately, just fell just shy of the crossbar. And then on the next play, Menard was able to get a long 80-yard touchdown reception by Cutter Knowles just to kind of complete this ball game at that point. It was 20-0. And the thing was, I feel like if TJ was able to convert on those 2 plays, you never know. They could get touchdowns on those 2, touchdown and the field goal on those 2 plays. Even if they did give up that long 80-yard play, they did block the extra point. You're down 20-10. You're at the point right there where, all right, we got some momentum here. We probably we're still in the ball game here. But I just think that after that 80-yard reception for a touchdown, that just took all the air out of the building and really just gave it to Menard there. And even at that point, Aiden Moran had 4 touchdowns in the game, basically closing it out here with the last 4 TDs for Menard. And this is a kid that last season he got hurt during the Gina game early in the season. He was battling shoulder injury, shoulder problems coming into this game. So they kind of held him out of practice a little bit there, but still came away with the biggest game of his life there, especially after their quarterback, Jake Vaughn, was hurt. So, to really come out there and showcase themselves, I think that was something big. Now, Menard didn't come away without the injury bug. Unfortunately, Sam Mercado did get hurt in the game. We'll see what his availability will be for Newman. But if they can get him back, that helps out a little bit more there because they do have a very solid, at least a good linebacker core that's technically sound. But if they lose that guy right there, I mean, that is kind of one of their heart and souls of their defense there. And they're going to be down a man going into this game against Newman here, where, Newman's going to, Newman has some good players out there. So it's going to be very interesting there.
Nick Campbell, you made a post earlier. You made a post earlier. You made a post earlier.
31-27. Connect all of our corridors.
You made a post earlier, and you said there's a lot still standing in your area. Where were you at? Let's talk about those teams that you got to see.
Yeah, starting off with West St. John, I thought that game would have been a little bit closer at halftime. West St. John hit them hard, fast. It was quite surprising. I thought General Thrash would give them a better game than that. So that allowed me to go outside and go up 31-27 and catch up Lutcher, man. And Lutcher, I just got to Lutcher just in the nick of time to see Mr. Ashton Starks cut up again, man. If you didn't hear this kid name, you're going to hear about him in the playoffs in the near future, man. He's a dynamic Travis Hunter type football player. And it was a coming out party for him. He had 3 touchdowns, and he helped his team propel over Iota to move on to the next round of the playoffs. But Harville I didn't make because I had a guy over there taking pictures, and he was keeping me pretty equipped with the scores as it was going. So some pretty good games this week, but everybody's getting excited for week number 2 in the playoffs.
Best time of the year. All right, so we had a rematch from week 6 of the regular season between Eunice and DeRidder. That game was a district rematch. It went into overtime back in the regular season. Well, we were far from overtime this go around. Final score was 35-16 in that one, but it was completely dominated from the get-go. Our Eunice had a couple opportunities there. They had a fake punt that they took to the house that was called back because of a penalty, illegal. They had, how you say that? Too many guys in the backfield. So illegal formation.
Yes, illegal formation.
Then you had an interception that got called back because of a pass interference. They had a lot of stuff that happened. Some open receivers running that quarterback couldn't connect with them. So it was not Eunice's night, to say the least, but it was DeRidder's night from the get-go. We gave player of the game honors to Javon Fairley. He had the hat trick, 3 touchdowns on the ground, but not before Connor Rushford, that did not play back in week 6. He went off Friday night. Tough nose kid. He's not going down first contact, and he had gained a lot of big yards on Friday night. The linebacker, recall, had some big plays from the linebacker position, and I thought the coolest thing about Friday night was, because it was our first time at DeRidder, and shout out to the Dragons for the big win, but I thought the coolest thing about Friday night was Coach Parmley taking over for his dad back in all those years ago. He's taken the Dragons to 8 straight playoff appearances, and then Coach Parmley and his dad on the same staff together. And then we watched Coach Parmley's son at the quarterback position take the final kneel down right there at the end. So a full circle moment right there. It was pretty cool to see the family bond right there, knowing that they'll always have that memory, a playoff win right there where Coach got to see his son get the final kneel down. And good luck to the Dragons. And that's all I have to say about that. We did not get the same thing we got in week 6. So, but congratulations to the Dragons.
What I found interesting is that you talk about Fairley. Fairley only rushed 5 times, scored 3 times, 121 yards, in that. Also, DeRidder as a team rushed for 335.
There you go. Yep, they definitely they had a game plan. They went in with it, and they executed extremely well. And the defense also caused about 3 or 4 turnovers also. So it was a complete effort from top to bottom. So we look at that. We turn the page. Now it's time to find out where all four of us is headed this coming week. And I'm going to take some guesses here.
Okay.
Like JB, I know where you going.
Yeah.
I know where you're
Nick
going, but these guys on the bottom, I'm going to take some guesses here. As I look at the bracket, I'm going to take a wild guess and say, Lamar, you're going to get you some jambalaya and gumbo at the Grove when the defending state champs come into town on Friday night. Catholic New Iberia and Bunkie. And if it ain't that one, here's my second. Alexandria and Brother Martin. Which one are you going to?
I would probably say you're wrong on both of those.
God,
what?
Hey, what? If I was a betting man, I would have lost everything just now.
Ooh,
You
Lord.
would have lost everything. You would have lost everything. Now, I'm looking at the Tioga Brother Martin game. Not the Tioga Brother Martin game. The Tioga Rummel game. Yes, Tioga Rummel game. I'm looking to see that one. I haven't seen Tioga since week 2 when they played against Leesville. So I'm trying to see here if somebody is going to be at that game. If somebody is going to be at that game, then I am going to shift to the Ash Brother Martin game. But yeah, I'm going to see Tioga. It looks like right now I might be seeing Tioga Rummel. See what happens in that game here. See what the Indians can possibly do against the Catholic League here, and see what they have the ability to do. But I am going to be staying in Rapides Parish. I am going to be staying in Rapides Parish at least.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna take a wild guess because I have no idea, Nick.
I know where you're going. I know.
I'm gonna take a wild guess here because I don't think you're going North Louisiana.
Rustin Brown.
I don't think you're going to North Louisiana, so I'm gonna say, is it Destrehan, Ouachita Parish?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right with that one. It makes a whole lot of sense. I got a text about 5:30, and I got another text, and I got an inbox, and somebody out there is spraying a little gree saying that Ouachita Parish is going to beat Destrehan in the crystal ball. And I think that's a little bit motivation enough for me to say I could just go there and not go home and watch St. Charles play a good football game either. So that's where I'm headed at, to see Destrehan play Ouachita Parish.
Okay. So we got Tioga and we got Rummel to my left, and we got Destrehan and Ouachita Parish to my right. So we're gonna have a lot to talk about come Sunday. Sir, you landed on Belle Chase and Opelousas. Let's talk about how we got there.
Oh man. Well, we made some phone calls. I contacted Coach Harry Coleman. VK Jones contacted Coach Myers. Coach Myers coaches Belle Chase. Coach Coleman coaches Opelousas. I thought I had Coach Coleman's number, but my two guys right here, Lamar and Jordan, I hit them up at the same time asking, do you have his number? And at the same time, they texted me right back, both of them. And I text Coach Coleman, and a minute later, he texted me back. He agreed. And VK texted me like a minute after that and saying that Belle Chase agreed. And there we have it. We have Belle Chase versus Opelousas. I think the key to the game is, can Opelousas defense stop this powerful running attack of Belle Chase? So that's the game. That's the Hazard House Show Friday night game of the week.
There you go. And then finally, it will be under the lights. It will be Friday night. I hear there's rain coming, so that ain't good.
50%.
That ain't worth a damn for broadcasters like us.
Oh man.
But Friday night, in a incredible environment that awaits, it will be undefeated Iowa against Northwest live on Under the Lights. You got a healthy Northwest that's not a 15 seed in my opinion. Go and play an undefeated Iowa. You ready for this, Nick? And if you're listening, Alex, close your ears.
Uh-oh.
Iowa is undefeated when we broadcast their games in this 6-0.
Make it 7. I told you about Iowa week 2.
Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Will we see an undefeated streak come to the end? Because like I told y'all, this ain't a 15 seed.
Come on down to afternoon. We have a lot of Iowa people in the chat right now. They kept saying, "Come to Iowa, come to Iowa, come to Iowa." I'm just like, just sit tight. He's going to say it. He's going to say it. There you go.
So it should be a lot of fun. I don't see this one going in a route direction. I think this is a 4-quarter war, guys.
Oh yeah, $12. A lot of folks want to see the best football game that's possible. Going to be a winner, going to be a loser. But I'd rather see the team that's not ready to die right then and there. I want to play the Thanksgiving.
There you go. Electric environment awaits. And for all 4 of us, that just means we get to see postseason football another week. And I'm sure if I can speak for the rest of us, we're just blessed to be in the building anywhere.
That's correct.
Right, anyway.
That is correct.
So we shift gears and talk about some things that that go into these round 1 matchups. Sounds good?
Yep.
Can we start in Division 4 non-select, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
So we're not going to go through every game here, but just some scores, some teams that really caught my eye. And if you want to touch on something, no problem at all. Sounds good?
Yep.
All right. I do have to start off with the 16-17 matchup, Homer Franklin. That was a 21-20 ball game right there. So it looks like an extra point. The difference there, Homer Haynesville, we get a rematch from the state, the third longest rivalry running game in history. We get another crack Homer Haynesville because Homer wins at 21-20.
Oh yeah,
JB.
you don't have to get up for that one.
Exactly.
Thoughts on the 21-20 victory for Homer, setting up a rematch with Haynesville?
You said it. Came down to extra points. Sound like it was a good old dog fight between the two teams. But that 1 point. Let's say, just for instance, Franklin was up 20-14. That 1 point could be the difference to any team in any game. Just like that. So that looked like it was a great game, great hard fighting game between the two teams. Homer and Haynesville, two teams that don't like each other, and they're gonna do battle again.
Lamar.
Yeah, that's why they say special teams matter. I mean, and especially when you have 1 point, and especially in this level right down here in the 1A level, 2A level here, where teams may not have a specialized kicker there. So looked like Homer had one. That was the difference of the ball game there, and that's the reason why they're moving on to the second round.
Yeah, 21-20 is always a reminder that you got to have one play in your pocket. Always for a 2-point conversion, playoff time. There's no tomorrow, and you got a specialized kicker that can make an extra point. That can be the difference in the ball game. So the scenario probably was down up 20-14, and we need that touchdown and that extra point. And that was a great to end that, to have a 21-20 victory. That looked like it was a really great game.
Saw 2 rematches from the regular season. Welsh Lake Arthur, they met back in week 9. This time in week 11, Welsh beat them 38-23, so got them twice in the same season. Vinton DeQuincy, they rematched from week 10. Vinton, this time, shut them out 28-0. So 2 of those games right there, rematches, both went the same way, with those teams getting their second win of the season. And when you get your second win of the season, that means someone else's season comes to an end. Your thoughts, JB?
Well, the score surprised me, to be honest with you, because usually it's hard to beat a team twice.
Mm-hmm.
But the margin of victory from both teams for Vinton and Welsh is very shocking because you would think it'd be maybe a little bit closer. I mean, don't let the seed numbers, fool you, and some of these matchups. But I was just shocked by the margin of victory, and it just goes to show you the preparation that the teams went through to be ready for this ball game, especially the victors, Welsh and Vinton. So I have to give them a lot of credit for what they did, and I'm sure they watched a lot of film of the first matchup and saw the mistakes they made, corrected it, and put it into action for this game.
Lamar.
Yeah, I was shocked about it too, at least how the games kind of went as well. I mean, I had the Quincy possibly, going on to the quarterfinals. I thought that they could be a team that could do that there, but shout out to Vincent for coming away with a shutout win, especially with how last season ended in a high scoring shootout matchup against Montgomery last year. And so just to kind of regroup there. And of course, for Welsh getting that big win against Lake Arthur. And I think another one of those rematches was Grand Lake Montgomery. They did play against each other before district play, but that one was also a little bit of a shocker right there for me because I thought Montgomery was at least going to. I thought Montgomery was going to at least have a little bit more firepower on offense there, but for Grand Lake to hang 61 points on them, I mean, that definitely does say something about that their offense was pretty much humming right along there.
Yeah, by any chance, I didn't expect Vinton to come out with all guns blazing and pitch a shutout in the playoffs. I'd have never thought it. I had Vinton moving on in my master bracket, of course, and I had the Welsh Greyhounds moving on also. When you look at those teams like that got championship pedigrees, somebody like Welsh, they're gonna find a way how to start winning again. And games that build up and keep building up, that's when we're gonna bring the fan base. We talk about the community be involved, and you'll be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised to see Welsh give Logansport a really, really good tough football game coming up this week.
Good catch right there, Lamar. They met back in week 4. 62-34 was the final, and Grand Lake won it then, and they win it now. You go into thinking about those two football teams. Vinton, year 1 head football coach, Coach Laverne, tremendous job, has his guys playing round 2 at home. And Welsh, a veteran coach over there, and Coach Corville has his guys going play Logansport in round 2. So excited to see what happens there. And if Grand Lake's healthy, watch out for the Hornets also. Last one for this bracket, West St. Mary, Basile. What a battle that was. West St. Mary had to come back in this game. This is one of those deals where 1A versus 2A, and it didn't really matter if you were in different divisions because these two teams went toe-to-toe right here. 28-22, West St. Mary gets the win over Basile.
Well, you got to credit West St. Mary for not giving up, continuing to fight, showing the perseverance to come back and win this game. Like you said, they were down and finding ways to make big plays happen and finding ways to finish this game and finding a way to hold off Brazil from scoring anymore. So credit West St. Mary for the victory. Tough task ahead as they're going to travel to Buras, Louisiana to play South Plaquemines, but credit West St. Mary for the job they did to come back and win that game against Basile.
Yeah, same. I mean, I have to agree with that too. Credit for West St. Mary for coming back to winning that game. I mean, hey, they came into the postseason on a 2-game losing streak, losing to Catholic New Iberia and Lauraville, and so you could have basically folded up the tent right then and there and just say, "Hey, look, we're going to go on to basketball or whatever our next endeavor is going to be," but to come out there and say, "Look, we're going to play one more week of football." I mean, that definitely does say something there. So shout out to the Wolfpack.
Oh yeah, man! We gotta realize playing those first 2 games of the season that can really galvanize a football team, and you can learn something from a coaching standpoint from losing. And when you get to the playoffs and you get your guys motivated to get this extra adrenaline that's going to get those W's, man. And shout out to Coach with West St. Mary to get those guys to continue to keep playing hard throughout this playoff run. It's never over until it's over. The regional rounds, you're going to see a lot of games coming down to last plays, and battle tested teams, no matter what classification you are, you're going to have a chance to pull one of those games out. And that's what it's all about.
There you go. We read off the rest of the scores for this bracket. Jonesboro Hodge over North Central 44-20. We had Logansport over Vornado 44-0. We had Elton over LaSalle 36-14. North Iberville over Arcadia 53-6. East Feliciana over Delcom 44-6. Faraday over Northeast 58-0. And West St. John takes care of General Trask 52-6. Shift gears, round 2. Let's talk about these matchups we got in front of us. We start off with the 1 seed Haynesville, the 16 seed Homer. That is a rematch from the regular season. We all know how long that rivalry has been playing, over 100 years. We got Jonesboro Hodge against Vinton. That's a little 8-9 matchup there. Hodge actually made the trip down to the team that Vinton beat in the previous round. Jonesboro Hodge made the trip to DeQuincy and won that game in the regular season. So they got to make another trip down this direction, this time to get the Vinton Lions. 5 seed Logansport welcomes in the 12 seed Welsh Greyhounds. Logansport better be very careful this coming week. Grand Lake Tall Task, they got Jeanerette this week in a 13-4 matchup. West St. Mary hits the road, goes take on the state champs in South Plaquemine. It's a little 3-14 there. Then we get 6 seed North Iberville, and we get 11 seed Elton. I think that one right there is in for a lot of points.
That's a
and
long
then
game.
7 seed East Feliciana, 10 seed Faraday. This one right here feels like it's going to be a dandy.
Yeah.
And then we got 15 seed West St. John, 2 seed Mangum. Well, you better leave right now because that's a hike and a half. If going to Louisiana. All right, we got the matchups. It's 1 through 16. We got them. JB, you get the honors. We get one game to choose each. Which game you want to talk about out of these 8 that we have in front of us?
Oh man, Nick, I'm sorry, brother. Got to do it to you. It's West St. John and Mangum. Mangum looks like a team that can get to the dome, but West St. John showed me something last week or Friday night that I've been waiting to see from them this entire season. Which West St. John team gonna show up? We know this team is talented. We know they're full of athletes. It's been up and down with them the entire season. But what they did against General Trask was eye-opening. Because I thought so. Nick said it earlier. He thought it would be a much closer ball game, and West St. John won.
Yeah, who you telling? I picked General Trask win tonight.
Oh man, and they beat them pretty bad. So if West St. John can make this trip up north of North Louisiana in the Monroe area, if they can play how they played, like they did against General Trask, I think they can give Mangum a run for their money. We shall see, but I'm intrigued with that one.
Won't be easy.
Right.
Lamar, you get a game. You get a game. Talk to us about which one you want.
All right, so I think the one I'm intrigued about is going to be Eastvale and Faraday. First off, I want to give a shout out to Faraday for coming away with a win and also having a home game from what feels like forever for those guys. For those that did not know, their field situation, that's the reason why in the second half of the season, they have to play a lot of their games on the road. So for them to get their field situated right back and to give those kids an actual send off and what could be their last home game for them, I think that was kind of a good notice there. And also for Faraday last season, you know, after getting out ahead against Lake Arthur and then having that fight last year, unfortunately, for them to also come away with a win, I think that's kind of a good one there. But yeah, Faraday against Eastvale, that should be a good matchup, I think. Looking at what Faraday has done so far, I think they have an explosive offense. I think that they have been a team that can face against a lot of these top teams, especially in their district. Mangum, OCS, and Oak Grove unfortunately lost in heartbreaking fashion to those teams. But I think this Faraday squad, they have the makeup of possibly playing on Turkey Week here. And so I know Faraday's going to have to go all the way up there to East Fell, but I don't think that they're going to be phased by that at all. And I think they want to at least play one more game of football with them.
Nick Campbell, final game. What you got, my man?
Yeah, mine is number 6, North Iberville versus Elton. When that bracket came out, I do a master bracket, right? And I'm not convinced that's a strong 6 seed right there. And I think that's going to be a game that Elton could come in half. You know what I'm saying? It's probably going to be a lot of scoring. It's probably going to be a lot of scoring going on. But that's a game that really intrigues me. North Iberville, they've been playing some good teams all year, but I think that seed was a little bit strong for me. So keep an eye on that number 11-6 matchup.
Yeah, that one right there. I don't think both defenses are going to stop each other.
Who get the ball last?
And my final one is Logansport Welsh. I called this game a couple years ago in the quarterfinals. It's a fantastic coaching matchup. You got talented players on both teams. It's a 1A versus 2A matchup. Let's keep that in mind also. So we'll see what happens there. Welsh will have the depth. Logansport will have guys that will run through a brick wall. So something's got to give in this one in a little 5-12 rematch of the quarterfinals a few years back that we called on our platform. Division 4 select, guys. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about some of these games here. I start with Sacred Heart falling to Westminster of Lafayette 26-21. It's Westminster of Lafayette's first win in program history. Remember, it's 2 years as a program, and then they secured their first ever playoff win. Your thoughts on Westminster getting a big win over the Trojans?
Big. I mean, I went on Facebook, and what I see is how a small school secured its first playoff win. I'm like, well, okay, what school are they talking about? It's about Westminster Christian of Lafayette. Big time win.
They only got like less than 20 players healthy right now.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, man, credit to the players for playing so hard. I mean, your depth is so low. You know, when it comes to these 1A schools, you lose one player to injury is like losing 3 or 4 players, you know, because of the depth issue. But wow, when I saw that they pulled this game out, man, that was a big time win for them. Credit Westminster Christian.
Yeah, absolutely. Credit Westminster Christian for getting that win here. Like you said, new kid on the block, and for them to get a big win like that, just to kind of jumpstart their program, that's gonna say a lot there. So you know, hey, the Chargers, I mean, I know they got something going on. I know they were ranked in the LSWA poll at some points during the season as well. And so just for you to, I mean, look, you're always going to remember your first, and that's the thing there. So they're going to remember this forever on this one too. And that could be the turning point in helping out their program.
First playoff win for them as well.
Oh yeah, look, Sacred Heart was playing really well, but in Betty Wright's voice, she said tonight is the night. And you know, when you got a 13-20 matchup, Sacred Heart was playing really well. Westminster, they played some really good teams. They had a pretty strong little run, but for them to come and play Sacred Heart was playing too well for me to think that game would have happened. But kudos to the coach and the coaching staff and the players, man. They got 15 healthy players that's like actually contributing, man. That's some Iron Man football. So my shout out goes to them. And look, we gotta really keep a close eye because we want to see how this story ends.
Yeah. I do have to go back to a year ago, guys, real quick with that matchup. I do have to go back to a year ago. I talked to Westminster of Lafayette in the offseason. I talked to them in July, and I asked coach and the players about not finishing when they had Opelousas Catholic at halftime. They were up big a year ago in the first round of the playoffs, and Opelousas Catholic came back in a big way and won that game by a point. Well, that was a thing they took into the offseason and made them better. They grinded harder. They worked their tails off. And you come here a year later and they go and finish a game on the road and beat a really good Sacred Heart team. So they took that loss from the playoffs a year ago and they put it into play here a year later. And congratulations, Coach Kent Gable and his staff for getting a big time win here. When Coach told me both of his running backs both carried the ball 25 times in week number 10, I can about imagine what they did here in week number 11 because it's fear to veer. And Coach Gable is a testament because he's a Acadiana guy. So he's bringing that style of football to Westminster Lafayette. And watch out. They got a good one in round number 2. And don't count out the Chargers for going to pull off a big upset.
Oh, no, don't count them out.
All right, another one. It was a semifinal rematch, and we got it in round number 1, ladies and gentlemen. It was under the tank. It was the Screaming Eagles, and it was the Rouge. Kentwood 11, Vermilion Catholic 22. Kentwood gets the win. They get their revenge, and they get it at home, 28-13. We're guaranteed a new state champion in Division 4 Select as Vermilion Catholic's season comes to an end.
Yeah, I said last week that Kentwood wanted revenge. This when they got the brackets, they were happy. They were ecstatic. They wanted to avenge last year's 33-0 loss to Vermilion Catholic. It left a bad taste in their mouth, and they kept that taste in their mouth until now. They were able to get some Listerine and rinse it out. They are happy with that loss. 28-13 victory. They dominated pretty much from start to finish. Vermilion Catholic, not much they could do against that Kentwood defense in this game. So Kentwood had it on their minds. They wanted this revenge, and they got it.
Yeah, same. I mean, you kind of do remember the team that put you out the last year, and of course, a lot of people over there probably had an idea of, hey, look, we cannot let this happen again. We cannot let this happen again. So that was a good thing for Kentwood. Also, it kind of just shows how wide open this bracket is in a way a little bit there. Of course, like you said, I mean, Vermilion Catholic had a senior-laden team last year, and now just to they lost some of those seniors, and now they still were able to get back, but unfortunately losing the first round there, I think it again tells us how wide open this bracket was.
Oh yeah, I got an opportunity to witness the Rouge in the spring against West St. John. And after that game, JB was the first person I called. And I said, JB, Kentwood is for real. West St. John is for real. And we looking at that number 11 seed, but they're sitting in the catbird seat to do some really significant damage, staying that they're healthy. Because when I think, Jordan, you was on assignment, and Kentwood I'm sorry, not Kentwood. Kentwood took a bad loss. And we had talked about it intentionally. We said, look, don't worry about the laws. They had a couple fans chirping. Don't worry about the laws. The rules will be there. So it's good that they could kill all doubt, because a lot of people had Vermilion Catholic making another strong playoff run.
When you go and look at this bracket also, not only did the 20 seed make it to round 2, we also saw the 18 seed, and we also saw the 21 seed. Your thoughts on St. Mary's getting a win, shutting down St. John's run, and your thought on Delta Charter coming down and getting the win over St. Martin's Episcopal. That's 3 higher seeds moving on.
St. Mary's over St. John's, that shocked me a little bit. I didn't see that happening. I wasn't too surprised with St. Martin's losing to Delta Charter, to be honest with you. St. Martin's not the same team as last year. They got a good quarterback in Donnie Lawrence, a good running back in Otto Kane, but just not enough to get them to the quarterfinals and the semis like they did the past 2 seasons. So I wasn't too surprised with Delta Charter winning.
Yeah, I was surprised with Delta Charter winning, but I was also surprised how thinking that at least KD would get one more win. You know, his team been on a good hot streak for the last 4 weeks. They've been playing some teams. They've been trying to make the playoffs. And I didn't see it coming to an end right here at that moment. The score didn't indicate it being that bad, but when I think it was a Riverside parent texted me, said, "You see that score?" I said, "Yeah, y'all could have probably had y'all way with both of them because of the numbers. Both teams not having the numbers that they traditionally had with kids, you know."
13 seed got to the state championship game a year ago. Don't count out one of these higher seeds getting back to the big dance. This is a bracket that's a lot of fun. This is a bracket that's going to see some great round 2 matchups. Let's talk about those round 2 matchups at this time. We get a rematch in round number 2 with the 1 seed Westminster of Opelousas and the 16 seed Opelousas Catholic. We all know how this game went down in the regular season. Walk-off field goal for the Crusaders. This is a Opelousas rivalry. This is going to be a lot of people in the building at Crusader Field Friday night. Excited to see part 2 of this one. We'll see who's punching their ticket to quarterfinal week. Then you got Covenant Christian welcoming in St. Ed's in an 8-9 matchup. This game will be played at Nichols University. The Trosclair injury for Covenant Christian, really a backbreaker there. Can they rally the troops and get a big-time win against a good St. Ed's ball club that's coming in? Then you got a 5 versus 21 matchup. St. Mary's shut down St. John's run a few days ago. I'm sorry. Can they go shut down Ascension Catholic's run? That's a different beast. Then you got Westminster of Lafayette is a 20 seed, and you got Catholic of Pointe-Coupee is a 4 seed. Catholic of Pointe-Coupee with Jude Morrison, they could score with the best of them. And then Westminster of Lafayette, how many times will they limit the possessions that the Hornets will get? Correct? Think about that. If they're running the veer, and both their running backs are averaging 25 carries per game, Catholic of Pointe-Coupee better score on every possession they get. 3 seed Hamilton Christian and Javon Vital enter the playing field. They get St. Frederick's as a 14 seed. St. Fred's, good defense, physical defense, but you better be ready to game plan around number 1. And then you got the 6 seed Ascension Episcopal against the 11 seed Kentwood. Ascension Episcopal, 2 weeks to prepare. They're coming off of the 1-point loss to Lafayette Renaissance in week 10. So you know they will be ready to go. Blue Gators and Rouge, Kentwood and Ascension Episcopal. That's a lot of fun there. And then you got the 7 seed Ouachita Christian, 10 seed Southern Lab, a state championship worthy game right here in round number 2. We get it earlier than we expect, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Just did not think we would see it this early in the bracket. And then finally, Delta Charter gets a crack at Riverside Academy. They're going to have to play their best game and some come Friday night. Riverside, really good ball club. That was a mouthful, right? JB.
Yep.
There's the matchups. There's round 2. Give me one that you want to talk about. I think you're going your cousin's route.
I could. Yeah, that's where I'm going. St. Edmund versus Covenant Christian. Trosclair is out. I've said Amari Burks needs to be used a lot. We talk about 6'2.5", big-time wide receiver. They need to give him the ball. He is something special. This is not just me saying that because he's my cousin. No, I've seen the guy play. You got to get him the ball. Get him open in space, and he can make big things happen. St. Edmund is a great team. This is going to be a tough ball game for Covenant Christian to win, period. But you got to give the ball to your playmakers. And I'm telling you, Amari Burks is a playmaker. He wants his opportunity. Give him the ball. He can make things happen. I promise you. You know it, Nick.
Okay.
Yes.
Just like your cousin over there with Northside.
Yeah, him.
Yeah. Lamar, give me a matchup on this bracket that you want to talk about.
I go to Monroe for this matchup here, and that is going to be Washita Christian Southern Lab. As you mentioned earlier, Jordy, man, look, it's a shame that one of these teams has to lose in the second round, but this is a great matchup that obviously a dome worthy matchup here, and we get it early, and we get it for the right to play on Thanksgiving Day. I mean, you got OCS coming in there with after their loss to Oak Grove, and they had a couple of weeks to kind of stew on that there. And of course, Southern Lab has already played a very tough schedule. Well, while their record may not look as sterling and everything there, but they are a dangerous team that has been battle tested so far this season. And so it is going to be very interesting to see which one of these teams stands out here in the win. I think, again, making that drive up there to Monroe probably gives OCS a good bit of an advantage there, but they cannot overlook the Kittens here.
Nick, you got a game that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'll be probably beat up real bad if I don't talk about the Riverside Rebels getting ready to host their playoff game. They fans been chomping at the bits. If you ever made it out there to reserve, they bring their kids out by beating on the doors and hollering rebels, and then all of a sudden here comes smoking Coach Lee Roussel marching his guys out. But saying that to say this, playing a team like Delta Charter, Riverside they've been looking for great games all year. After they played their game against Terrebonne, it didn't go their way. They took it upon themselves to destroy everybody that was in their way. Now let's keep in mind that Riverside got a lot of underclassmen that is playing this year. When I say underclassmen, we're not talking about sophomores and juniors. We're talking about 8th and 9th graders. And there's some impact players on both sides of the ball. So you gotta get those young guys going. And they're more, when you catch guys young like that, they're more to listen to their coach than listen to anything else. So they are very impressionable right now. So I hope that game is streaming so I could do a double dip.
Okay. I'm gonna go with this one here. Let's go Westminster Lafayette and Catholic Appointees. And here's what I'm gonna say about that one, because this game will be at Catholic Appointees and Westminster of Lafayette, back-to-back weeks getting big-time wins. So Westminster Lafayette beat Vermilion Catholic in week 10. They beat Sacred Heart in week 11. Now they have a crack at Catholic Appointees in week number 12. So they're playing with major confidence right now. So they are ready for a war, which I think it will be a war. But when you look at Catholic Appointees and the amount of points they have scored this season, I have to go back to, let's go back to week number 2, 3. Let's go back to week 4. Week 4, they scored 28. Week 5, they scored 44. Week 6, they scored 40. Week 7, they scored 43. Week 8, they scored 50. Week 9, they scored 36. Week 10, they scored 45. That's the offense that is clicking right now.
Yes.
So Westminster Lafayette coming in with major confidence. They're going to have to play keep away. They're going to have to win the time of possession. Because if Catholic Appointees gets the ball 4 times, I expect them to score all 4 of those times, because I don't expect them to get more possessions than they're normally accustomed to. But Coach Carruth, Coach Gable, that's going to be a lot of fun, boys, on Friday night. Yes. Reading off the rest of those scores real quick. Let's see. Opelousas Catholic beat Ascension Christian 35-7. St. Ed's beat Lincoln Prep 62-18. St. Frederick's beat Cedar Creek 49-6. Southern Lab beat Central Catholic 48-6. And then Delta beat St. Martin's 28-15. Let's go to the next bracket. Let's go to Division III non-select. Let's see if we can find some games here. Because Not many close ones
Mm-mm.
in this brackets. How about we go and start off with, here we go. Let's go with an upset that happened in round number 1. Give me 33-18. Kaplan beats Pine. It's a Pine team that saw Jules Sumner. They saw a meet in their district. So they were ready for round 1, knowing how physical Kaplan would be. Pirates got to be the coolest storyline with Coach Richardson coming in late in August to take over the job. And what a job he has done to get his team to second week of bracket season. Pirates get a win 33-18 over Pine, JB.
Well, I wasn't expecting this one. I really thought Pine would get this game, and it didn't happen. Goes to show you why we play the game every Friday night. But credit Kaplan. They beat a great team, and I mean a great team. Pine ain't no joke. And the fashion in which and how they beat them is phenomenal. Phenomenal. They were very physical from the jump, and Pine couldn't match that physicality. So I'm very intrigued now to see Kaplan and Kinder. I am very intrigued now. I thought Pine could give Kinder a run for their money, but Kaplan now, I'm very intrigued. Credit
What
the
a ball
coaching
game
staff.
that's going to be.
What'd you say?
What a ball game that's going to be.
Oh, I think so, buddy. Yes, I really do think so. Credit Kaplan, man. Give them all the credit in the world.
Yeah, I'll agree on that one too. I mean, I had Kaplan in the bracket because just wanted to pick an upset there, but I felt like this was going to be a very close game between them and Pine. But credit to Kaplan for doing their job there, going all the way on the road, just to win over there at Pine here. Long drive for them there, and now they get a much shorter drive now, and having to go against Kinder, another solid team here. So that could be an interesting matchup between the both of those teams there. So can't wait to hear about that one.
Oh yeah, when you look at it, Kinder was solid the whole season. Kaplan got hot late. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see the score being the way it was. When you get a 20 and a 13 matchup, you looking at a 6-7 point game, but it wind up being a 15-point game. That's 2 touchdowns, man. That's incredible. But that's a team that's going to build momentum. And those short trips, that'd be the best trips because now they can look forward to getting this one out the way pretty much at a home trip.
JB, you can hear me?
Yes.
Kaplan got a really good running back in the Marion Cormier, and Coach Thompson has done a tremendous job, like I said, but this ain't your Kaplan of old where you think it's downhill, run the ball 60 times a game. How about shout out to Sabe David? He was 6 for 13 through the air, had 185 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. That's not your typical Kaplan ball club there, airing it out to get a big-time playoff win, but you can't be, how do you say that? You got to have other options if teams are loading the box in the playoffs.
That's
and
right.
There you go. There's some big-time numbers for the Pirates passing attack where we're so used to seeing them running the ball down people's throats, like what we saw them do at Southern Lab earlier this year.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. This goes to show you, they can do it more than one way by just running the ball. They can open it up and throw the ball as well. It goes to show you that.
Yeah. All right. So we had a rematch from the regular season. This time it was played at Manny. Manny and Red River clashed again. Red River got the best of them in the regular season, blew them out.
Yeah.
And then here we go. The second time around, Manny and Red River would meet at Manny this go round, and Manny gets the 35-27 victory over Red River. They say you can have the regular season win. We're just going to keep playing on to next round. Your thoughts? Manny gets their revenge.
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, it's hard to beat a team twice, and Red River couldn't do it. Manny gets their revenge and a sequel that pretty much lived up to the hype. I mean, we got a 1 touchdown ball game here. So this was a game that was fought from the first quarter all the way through the fourth quarter between two teams who are very familiar with one another. But Manny was the team that figured out how to finish at the end. So the Manny Tigers moving on and taking a drive down south to beautiful downtown Vacherie to play St. James.
Yes, indeed. That was a 34-6 victory for Red River back in the regular season, guys. What a complete difference in the ball game we got.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what a turnaround there. And it feels so good to at least have playoff football back in Manny, especially after they went there 0-10 last season. Coach Tyler Hassel has really done a very solid job in trying to reclaim the glory of what Manny had under Jess Curtis. And that's one step right now in trying to do that there. And I know our TV station, they were up there at Manny. The fireworks were going off in that game like they always are in Manny. And for them to get that win, that was very good. Another great place where they tailgate very well as well. So shout out to Manny and getting their win there.
Oh yeah, look, I can make y'all laugh because when Jordan was picking their games, I was in there. They was talking about Red River. I was hollering, Manny, Manny, Manny. St. James want the Manny to come down to beautiful downtown Vacherie. St. James want to play a team that they can knock some rust off really good. They've been playing some teams towards the end like Berwick and Patterson. They've been beating the brakes off them. So this is a really good tune-up game for West St. John. A lot of other folks was in your chat, Jordy, talking about Red River. I didn't see it happening. So shout out to Manny and his coaches and get ready for a really good ball game Friday night.
St. James still want their revenge on Manny from a few years ago in the playoffs. You know that's what it's about. Come on now.
When you look at this ball game here and you think about St. James getting Manny, it's a potential first of 3 meetings along the way with teams that they're going to have to stop the run. So we look at St. James, we know Manny, they're going to run it right at you. They're going to have to stop the run. They get by them, then here comes Oak Grove. Oak Grove, similar offense, going to have to stop the run. And then, waiting in the semis, most likely will be Sterlington. And what does Sterlington do? The same thing that they're going to see. Same thing they're going to see the first 2 weeks before they get to that semifinal matchup. So by the time they would get to Sterlington, they will be ready to stop the run.
That you said it. You said it because I think Manny, Oak Grove, and Sterlington all runs the same type of offense. I think they all run the veer. And if St. James prepares for that against Manny and defeats Manny, they're gonna be ready for the next week against Oak Grove, and then be even more ready come against Sterlington by going up against it week after week after week.
There you go. So I think it sets them up if they don't get upset along the way. I think it sets them up for a better semifinal than what we're accustomed to seeing, because they wouldn't have seen that offense until that point in previous years.
Well, Lamar.
A name to watch there for Manny, Daniel Thomas. He had 5 touchdown runs against Red River. So that is definitely going to be a guy that that St. John has to try to stop in that ball game. St. James has to try to stop in that ball game there.
Gotcha.
Okay. And we everybody went though, correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool deal. The rest of them were just blowouts, guys. I mean, I'm going to read off these scores, and we're going to go to round 2 matchups. St. Helena went on the road, knocked off Avoyelles 58-26. Got a lot of athletes on the outside there that gave Avoyelles some problems. Marksville and the quarterback Lavallee knocked off Patterson 48-14. Mansfield, man, they got a talented football team right there at Mansfield. They beat Winfield 42-12. ERAF over Bogalusa 56-0. Why are we letting 1-win teams in the playoffs? Union Parish over Rayville 41-18. Richwood gets the win over Caldwell Parish 40-20. Richwood has turned it on here late. Oak Grove over Port Allen 47-0. Laurelville over Ville Platte 28-6. Church Point over North Webster 42-7. And then we had Donaldsonville knock off Westlake 18-0. Donaldsonville, you needed to come back after that Week 10 loss to Patterson. That was one that we didn't see coming, but good to see them bounce back, shut out the Rams here in round number 1. When we look at this bracket, we take a look and say 2 of those teams have made it that weren't the higher seeds. 17 seed St. Helena, and 20 seed Kaplan. Here's your matchups. 1 seed Gina Giants enter the playing field, and they get the 17 seed St. Helena Hawks right there. St. Helena, you better be ready to stop the run. Marksville, Mansfield. This one has the makings to be an epic 8-9 shootout. Okay? 5 seed ERAF, 12 seed Union Parish. This is strength on strength, boys. This is Union Parish's big offensive line, their hard-nosed rushing attack. And then when you look at ERAF, strength of the team is their rush defense. That's a good matchup. Then we have 20 seed Kaplan at 4 seed Kinder. One of those matchups right there. Throw the records out, throw the seeds out, and standing room only awaits. St. James Manny, we talked about it a little bit earlier, 3 versus 14. 11 seed Richwood, 6 seed Oak Grove. Richwood has came on us late. Now they got a big test with Oak Grove. 7 seed Loreauville, 10 seed Church Point. That's going to be a lot of fun in that matchup. Then the 15 seed Donaldsonville gets 2 seed Sterlington. JB, give me a matchup.
I got one for you, and it's close to your area. ERAT Union Parish.
Lay it on the table.
You said it. D-line versus that O-line for Union Parish. ERAT is undefeated. I'm going to have a lot of questions answered for myself about ERAT if they win this ball game. This is what I want to see. ERAT against a perennial power in Division III non-select, and that's Union Parish. And like I say, perennial power. Union Parish has been to the state championships. They won state championships. They went to semis last year. This is what I want to see right here. I will have a lot of questions answered about ERAT if they are able to defeat Union Parish. This is the game I'm looking forward to the most in this division.
You could be eye watching them scores Friday night.
All right, I will.
I'll be sweating it out, me. Because you know what? You know why. Lamar, what you got, babe?
I'm going to go with Mansfield and Marksville. That 8-9 matchup is an intriguing one here. And I think they always say styles make fights here. And you're going to have a Mansfield team that can run the ball with Terrell Pegue. I hope I'm saying this man's name correctly. Pegues, whatever it is. They're running back. So I hope somebody in the chat can let me know if I'm saying it correctly or not. But their running back is incredible. Over 1,500 yards. He has rushed for about 20 touchdowns so far this season. And so how can Marksville try to stop him? That's going to be something there. But also this Marksville team has a good passing attack. Devin Lavallee, he can do it all on the ground, running as well. 2,700 yards total. He's accounted for 37 touchdowns this season, and he has 2 great receivers to really pass the ball to, Armani Benjamin and also Price as well. Those 2 guys, man, incredible. So styles make fights there. Will it be the passing game of Marksville, or will it be the running game of Mansfield?
Nick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Jordan.
What, you thought I was sleeping?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, I'm looking down at this paper. Look, I want to see Coach Sheridan rally his team. Been up and down all year. They had a chance to play St. James. They didn't show up. They went out and lost a game they shouldn't have won. So let's see if they can win this game in Sterlington that they don't supposed to win. And Coach Sheridan been around a very long time. And coaching. So nothing would surprise me from that matchup. I think he would make a lot of people in St. James happy if he would win that game. You know, he'll go home to Ascension Parish and get all kind of treats at his door if they could find a way to upset Sterlington and move that pendulum a little bit more for St. James.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with the 7 seed Lowerville Tigers versus the 10 seed Church Point Battling Bears. This one right here, when you talk about two teams that love to run the football, you can go to this matchup here. Church Point's got a really good running back that's crossed the 1,000-yard mark. And Reese, you got Delcom. You got Lowerville that has the quarterback / running back, whatever you want to call him. He can do it all for the team, return kicks. This is going to be Reese versus Delcom. Which back has the better night? Which front seven gets enough stops? Lowerville, Church Point, I have no idea what's going to happen Friday night when these two teams clash. All I can say is it's going to be your money's worth. So you better get there early because it's going to be a packed house. Lowerville, Church Point, jealous I don't get to see it in person. I wish they had played on a Thursday night.
I know. I wish I had some Thursday games this week. Don't look like it, though.
All right, guys. Division 3 select. Let's talk about this matchup here. These matchups in the round number 1. Only one good game we saw this past week, okay? So I'm going to go there.
Go there.
Slaughter Charter beat Pope John Paul 21-17. That was a 14-19 matchup. I said it on Wednesday night. I thought Pope John Paul would go win this game. Slaughter Charter proved me wrong. Your thoughts on this one, JB?
I knew it'd be a tough matchup between both teams. I knew that from the get-go. Two tough teams that could easily be in the second round or even the quarterfinals. Just happened to meet up in the first round. But man, Slaughter Community Charter, man, just found a way to win this game at the end over Pope John Paul II. And it's a shame that somebody had to lose, but it is what it is. But this was a good ball game between two football teams that gave it their all. And the great thing is, like I said, Slaughter found a way to win at the end. Pope John Paul led the entire game.
Yeah, same here. I mean, good shout out to Slaughter for getting themselves a good win there against Pope John Paul. Again, close matchup there. You always love to see these matchups, especially as the seeds get a little bit closer against each other. And that's what it definitely looked like right here. A good overall game here that Slaughter got a chance to win here. And now having to face against Jules Sumner. So that should be interesting.
Tall task.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer in a lot of formulas, but I think they got this one wrong. I think Slaughter Charter School is not a 14 seed. They could beat anybody. It wouldn't surprise me if they beat Jules Sumner. It really wouldn't.
They ain't beating Jules Sumner.
It wouldn't surprise me. And I mean, we're talking about 15, 16-year-old kids, and sometimes they look ahead. But when you get a team that is ready, and we know they play Pope John Paul, but some things are build-ups. And just getting one game, that can be a build-up. Taking that ride to Jules Sumner, let's see if they can get this one going. And I wouldn't want to be here next Sunday. I'm going to get it either way. If they win, I'm going to be like, I'm smart. But if they lose, I can wear that egg. I can wear that egg.
I'm gonna be on the assignment. Going back to the comment that was in the chat when he said Reese is a receiver.
Yeah.
Delcom is the quarterback, but both of them are going to touch the ball 15, 20 times in the game running the ball. So that's going to be a great battle whenever those two run the ball come Friday night.
Cool.
Let's go to this next matchup here. An 18 seed and a 15 seed met. Probably should have thought these seeds should have been flipped or even improved because it's not your typical 18 seed De La Salle
Mm-hmm.
In
beating
this division,
45-14. We saw an 18 seed get to the Dome a year ago in
Cecilia.
Cecilia. Well, De La Salle, golden opportunity to come out of this bottom of the bracket as an 18.
I tell you what, Jordan Taylor, there's a lot of people are picking De La Salle to get to the Dome in this division, and I mean it looks good for them, especially if they get out of this game this upcoming Friday night against De La Salle. If they can defeat not De La Salle, Notre Dame, if they can defeat Notre Dame, it's going to look real good for them to definitely get to the semifinals to face whoever on that side of the bracket. So this is the test for De La Salle right here. They are the more talented team than Notre Dame, but Notre Dame is a greatly coached team by Coach Cook. So he's going to have their guys ready to play. This is De La Salle, to me, my opinion, this is their toughest matchup until they get to the semi. So we'll see right here coming up.
Yeah, same for De La Salle. I mean, I had a feeling they would beat Episcopal. They've had a very tough schedule.
Yeah.
They were 0-5 at one point in the season, but you
Yes.
have to look at the teams that they played there. They gained a lot from playing against those teams there, and this is not an 18 seed. This is not your normal 18 seed. And now they get a tough matchup against Notre Dame here, which, could be a matchup that I felt like that could also be a little bit deeper into the playoffs here, but you get them in the second round there. Notre Dame better be on their A game. And I know Coach Cook is going to have them on their A game there, but this could be a matchup that could go either way here. So it could be very interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, I know, Jordan, you real familiar with playing at Pioneers Field. I forgot what they call it. It's gonna be a tough matchup for De La Salle to get out of that with a win. If they're gonna go in there and beat Coach Cook, they're gonna have to, like we do on our show, they're gonna have to go and beat them by 2 or more. They're not gonna walk out of that. Those Pioneers are gonna be ready to play. They got Superdome aspirations right now. They're making reservations right now. And if they could get past De La Salle, I think they'll have a nice little walk there to get there with Jules Sumner or whoever come out of that other side.
Yeah, we have to see the status on quarterback for Notre Dame. I know he's injured. So will he play in this matchup? Will it matter? Will the team rally and someone else leads the way to get a big-time win? But won't be easy. De La Salle comes into Crowley, Louisiana to play the Pios in a fantastic second-round matchup. When we do talk about these second-round matchups, I'll roll off the rest of these round one scores. Parkview Baptist beat the Arbonne Woods Charter 42-28. Remember, that game was tied at 28 at one point, and then Parkview 2 late scores to pull away there. So shout out to Coach year one at the program. You always like to see alums come back to your schools and get your team in the playoffs, especially winning playoff games. Catholic New Iberia, the state champs, still in the bracket. They beat Glen Oaks 52-0. Northlake Christian takes care of St. Louis 59-20. Holy Savior Menard takes out Thomas Jefferson 47-0. We have Metairie Park Country Day beat Beekman Charter 56-15. A-Meet over Cohen 59-20. And that is to look at the rest of the bracket scores from round number one. Let's go to these matchups in round number two. The 1 seed LCA will take on the 16 seed Parkview Baptist. The 8 seed Bunkie Panthers against the 9 seed Catholic and New Iberia Panthers. What a ball game there, guys. Yep, I'll do it with you.
Can't fight.
5 seed Dunham. Elijah Haven welcomes in North Lake Christian, 5 versus 12. Then you got Holy Savior Menard going and take on 4 seed Newman. Jules Sumner is the 3. They will take on the 14 seed Slaughter Community Charter. 11 seed Country Day heads up north to take on the 6 seed Calvary Baptist. 7 seed Lafayette Renaissance gets the 10 seed A-Meet Warriors. How about in that matchup, Lafayette Renaissance, first time in school history since they're a year 2 program, going to host a playoff game. So congratulations there. Here comes the 6-time state champs into your building for your first ever game at home. And then the De La Salle 18 seed and the 2 seed Notre Dame. We go to this bracket. JB, what game do you want to talk about?
I'm going to go to the 11-6 matchup. Country Day versus Calvary Baptist. And Calvary Baptist has proven a lot of people wrong this year. People thought they'd be down this year, but they are not down, and they look darn good. Coach Ben Powell, he led Haynes Academy to an undefeated season last year. And now he's at Country Day, got a playoff win. He went and got some of the basketball players, the best basketball players like Herm Dyson, Curtis McAllister, and Kellen Brewer. He got them to come out and play football. So he got them as well. So he added a little more extra talent to the team. I like to see how this plays off with mainly Country Day's defense trying to stop Calvary Baptist. If their defense can make stops on Calvary Baptist, then their offense may have some opportunities to make things happen on their end. So I'm kind of intrigued with that game right there.
Lamar.
I'm intrigued in the 8-9 matchup, and that's going to be Catholic New Iberia against Bunkie. Hey, one thing I can guarantee, a team wearing red and a team that is the Panthers will win this ball game. But this will be a very interesting game because you have a Bunkie team that last season, they lost their 2 guys. Their 2 guys have graduated, obviously Dylan Compton and also Kyle Johnson, now playing D1 ball at their respective colleges there. But they have not lost a beat, especially with Zion Lee continuing to run like a grown man. And of course, you have a Catholic New Iberia team that, last season won the state championship, and also they have not missed a beat at all either. And so these 2 teams have something to really prove. I think they also have a common opponent. Catholic beat Central Catholic earlier in the season, 20-13. And Bunkie beat them as well in 33-6 in week 4. So that's at least something that we can go off of there. But I imagine that this will be a very close game and also a very hard-hitting game as well.
There you go. Nick, who you got?
My game of interest is the North Lake Christian and Dunham. North Lake Christian and Dunham. Sometimes when we got a top-rated player, we tend to forget about what's around them and what can really get this team to make a championship run. I'm looking forward to see how Elijah Haven responded in the playoff, because a lot of eyes are watching, and we're not looking at the competition. We're looking at him. Can he help us? Can he elevate his team to that next level of play? And saying that to say this, they played St. Charles Catholic earlier in the year, and he had the nationwide. I shouldn't say the nation. He had the state watching. He didn't do too well. So hopefully that game like that could elevate his game in the playoffs, so we can see what he really inspiring to be as a top-rated quarterback in the country.
I got to go to the 7 versus 10 Lafayette Renaissance versus A-Meet. The coaching matchup in this one got to be a good one. You look at both teams, and both teams are huge up front. We looked at A-Meet, and they did a good job stopping the run against Jules Sumner. It was the turnovers that really hurt them in that game. It set up Sumner with great field position. Meats can't turn the ball over if they're going to come into Lafayette Renaissance and win this game. They got to find some offense because they know the defense is good enough to keep them in the game. Lafayette Renaissance, the first time hosting a playoff at their home field. So you know they're going to be up for this game. They're extremely well coached. And when you talk about if you have to match offense with offense, in this one, Lafayette Renaissance has the edge. But if it's one of those defensive games here, I lean a meat. So we'll see what happens in that one. Division II non-select, guys. We look at these first round matchups. And oh Lord, Blowout City.
Everything went expected.
Let's start with this one. Opelousas upsets Pearl River 13-0. Not much offense. Shutout on the road. Opelousas year one coach Harry Coleman gets a signature win here in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. The decisive points in this game came from 2 second-half touchdowns from Opelousas. There you have it. They scored it in the second half. So, I mean, kudos to Opelousas, man. You know, defense able to stop Pearl River's offense, and then them going into halftime, making an adjustment, looking at things to see, well, let's do this, let's try this. And that got them 2 touchdowns in the second half to win that ball game. So credit to them moving forward as they're going to face the Belle Chasse Cardinals.
Lamar.
Yeah, shout out to my guy, Harry Coleman, and also on his staff as well, Coach Dwaylen Spain. Known those guys since they were at Peabody, both together there. But, yeah, I mean, Opelousas has had a tough schedule this season. I mean, they had to face against Ash. They had to face against Natchitoches Central, teams that made it to the playoffs. But they kind of caught fire at the end of the season and got better as the season progressed. And I think that really has helped them out in this point in time here. And so for them to also get a playoff win there, that definitely says a lot of what Coach Coleman is building over there. I mean, this team, again, 0-5 at one point in the season here, losing to Turlings, losing to Lake Charles Prep, losing to Ash, losing to Zachary and Natchez Central. They could have just folded it in and they could have just said, hey, look, we're going to practice for next year. We're going to wait for next year. But winning 3 of their last 4 to get into the playoffs and then also coming away with a road playoff game, that's amazing there. And so they're in the right direction. Coach Coleman, he'll have those Tigers ready.
Lamar, 3 of those 5 teams you just listed did have a first round bye in the playoffs also.
Absolutely. So that just tells you right there the caliber of teams that they had to face against and that were able to, those are good teams. And of course, the caliber of teams that they had to face against just to get here.
Coach Coleman, week 4, they had a lot of Tiger fans in our chatter talking about the Opelousas Tigers. Man, you did a terrific job. We also expressed that you could be one of those 5-5 teams that people don't want to play. And guess what? It's coming in. It's coming in. You got that 2 touchdown victory. Man, the sky's the limit for you moving forward. And I think right now you're looking at that 2 touchdown. What it was 13-0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Their defense is playing lights out. The defense is playing lights out. So hopefully that carries on the next week. And we'll be talking about a good matchup next week also that would include them.
Coach Coleman prides himself on playing great defense. He was a defensive guy in college. So when you have games like this, 13-0, shutting somebody out on their home field in the playoffs, that's his style of football. And we have an Opelousas punching their ticket to the second round. So congratulations there. Another year one coach got his team to punch their ticket, upsetting Minden in round number 1 was Wassman. Coach Darius got a win, 35-14. Wassman headed to the second round, guys.
Yeah. I mean, brand new coach because Coach Cahey Went back to Lake Charles, where he's from, to coach with McNeese. But credit the new coaching staff and going to Minden and getting this win. I don't think a lot of people pick Washburn to win this team, but Washburn got some athletes. They got some talent, and that's something that we should never forget, period, when it comes to Washburn. And you see him in basketball as well. So I know a lot of those basketball players play football as well. So they got some talent. They got some athletes. But, Washburn went to Minden and got this win. Big time win for the program. And we'll see what happens come Friday night when they travel down to Plaquemine.
Yeah, this has been a Washburn team that this season, had good athletes and everything. They just had to try to find some consistency. And so you've seen a lot of their wins that followed off of losses and win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. There, of course, there was a game that they had to forfeit Bastrop as well. That kind of dropped them here to this 21 seed and a road playoff game there.
Yeah.
But looked like they kind of got things started to click, especially once they played Peabody in week 10. And that momentum came along right there for Washburn there against Minden, a decent Minden squad that had to face against some of those tough teams in that Shreveport 4A district with North DeSoto, Northwood Shreve, and also and Loyola as well. So hats off for Washburn for making that trip west and coming away with a win and playing again another week here.
Gotta say how they say it up there, like where Lamar's from in Monroe. Wiseman. I be saying Wiseman, they be like Wiseman.
Yeah, when you get a team like Wasserman, it's not about what you're going to change. It's about who you became through the midst of all of those tough losses. And some characters are really tested when you playing good teams like that. And look, good kudos to Coach, man, for going out there and having his team to play another week, getting prepared to get ready for an upset, man. Because when you're talking about some of these 4s and 5s, some of them have been labeled with some good games, but not the strength of some of those bigger seeds that play like a Wasserman and moving on to this next round.
10, 9, 8, 7. All right. Rest of these scores, like I said, blowout city in this bracket here. We start with the Ritter getting the win over Eunice 35-16. We talked about that way earlier in the show. Jennings beat St. Martinville 56-18. Franklinton rolls past Rain 51-14. Plaquemine shuts out Livonia 55-0. Cecilia trying to go back-to-back. They start their quest. They get past Carroll 56-7. West Feliciana downs Bossier 49-6. Bruley takes care of Albany 42-6. Franklin Parish rolls 62-6 over Abbeville. Lutcher all over Iota 49-7. And then Northwest blanks South Terrebonne 45-0. There is your round one scores. We go to the round two bracket. And we start off with the number one ranked team, North DeSoto. They're going to welcome in the Dragons, 16 seed DeRidder. Oof, that's a good team there in North DeSoto. You got the 8 seed versus the 9 seed, Franklinton, Coach Salt's ball club. Runner-ups a year ago, trying to get back to the big dance. They get a Jennings team that handled business in round one after 5 of their players were suspended. So I'm sure they get those guys back here, go full strength, and try to pull off a big win on the road this week. Plaquemine, the 5 seed, scary good. They welcome in a Wasserman team that is ranked as the 21 seed. Cecilia trying to do what they did a year ago, go on the road and make it all the way. Well, the rest of the way, they will be on the road unless something crazy happens along the way. They get Lakeshore, Coach Indes's Titans. You know how well Coach Lakeshore is. 3 seed Bell Chase, 19 seed Opelousas. You can see that game on the Hash It Out Show, Game of the Week. It's going to be I think it's great defense, a battle in this one. So we'll see what happens. 11 seed West Feliciana, 6 seed Bruley. These two teams are in the same district. These two teams met back in week 7. These two teams met at West Feliciana, and Bruley won that game 21-13. Well, here we go weeks later. Bruley is going to be the home team, and we get it one more time. Franklin Parish and their talented LSU commit at the quarterback position gets a date with the Lutcher Bulldogs, 7-10. A lot of fun right there. And then the 15 seed Northwest Raiders against the 2 seed Iowa Yellow Jackets is under the lights Friday nights live on our platform. It's gonna be it's one of those things where Northwest wins, Iowa wins. You hate to see someone go home this early in the bracket. So love Iowa, love Northwest. And it's one of those things where someone's going to Turkey Week and someone's season ends earlier than we wanted them to end. But that's what we talked about Southern Lab and Washita Christian earlier, meeting earlier in the bracket than we want them to. Right. JB, you got a game here you want to talk about?
Yeah, the one I'm a broadcast Friday, Belle Chasse against Opelousas. I'm intrigued to see how Harry Coleman is going to have his defense ready to go up against this heavy set spread option attack that Belle Chasse runs. When I say heavy, we're talking about 7 offensive linemen lined up straight across the line, and then 2 more offensive linemen lined up either to the left or to the right behind the tackle and or the extra tackle, and then the extra tackle, you say tight end if you want to. And I want to see how he's going to be able to prepare to stop that defensively. If he can stop that rushing attack defensively, then I like their chances moving forward. But let's see what happens, because Belle Chasse has been able to score a lot of points on a lot of teams this year.
Heavy left, heavy right.
Yes.
Lamar, give me a game out of this bracket.
The game I like is the 6-11 matchup there, Bruley and Westphal. I got a chance to see Westphal earlier in the season, and looks like they've gotten hot now. Same thing for Bruley. They've been pretty hot as well. You got 2 hot teams facing against each other that have also played against each other in district play. And I think that's going to give us a very, very good matchup that, one game that, you hate to see one of these teams lose. But like you said, one of these teams gets on to go on to the next round here. And I feel like this should be a very, very good matchup between 2 solid teams here.
Yeah, mine would be seeing Lakeshore versus a Cecilia team minus decent Solar. I know they had some good wide receivers and some good returning pieces that was coming back, but they battled all year. To get back to this spot to get that a defending title. So I'm interested in seeing they can go down to Lakeshore and get that W and move on to the next round for them also.
I'm going to go with the one that we're covering on Friday night, Northwest and Iowa. You look at a Northwest team that is finally healthy. Let's go back to when they did get healthy and what they have done since then. Here's what the offense has done since they've gotten healthy. They've scored 44, 32, 43, 40, 37, 45, 45. Now you look at Iowa, the most points they've given up this year is 23. So I reeled off what they've scored since they've gotten healthy in an Iowa defense that the most they've given up this year was 23. So that's what I'm looking at there. Northwest's offense versus Iowa's defense Friday night, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Division II select bracket. We talked about that game earlier today with Northside Landry, so we don't have to break it down again. So let's go to another game that really, because you don't have many here.
Right?
Give me your thoughts on Booker T. Washington Shreveport 22, Estruma 14, JB.
I was shocked. My thoughts. I didn't see Booker T. Washington Shreveport defeating Estruma. I thought Estruma was going to go up there and get the win. I was proven wrong.
Me too.
Yeah. So shout out, credit Booker T. Washington for being ready and getting the win and moving on to the second round. So I was shocked. I didn't think that would happen, but it did. Once again, that's why we play the game, ladies and gentlemen. But credit Booker T. Washington Shreveport for that win.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say the same thing. I mean, look, I know for BTW Shreveport, this has been a long time that they hosted a playoff game, and I'm pretty sure a long time since they've been in the playoffs. And just to keep this season, this magical season for them alive here, that says a lot there. They're doing a lot of good things over there. Taking a look at some of their stats here from this past week here. Devion Stewart had 283 passing yards and also 2 touchdowns. And so it looked like it definitely ran with him as well. And so far, I mean, the Lions have shown this season that obviously they're not up there in that upper echelon of those teams in that district with those schools like North DeSoto and North DeSoto, Northwood, and also Loyola, but they have been just all right here in the middle of the pack here, and definitely continuing to showcase that they have done a very solid job. So kudos to them.
Well, yeah, I was shocked. I'm excited for them also to get that W. And this is what high school football is all about, man. Playing these games, taking on the competition you're supposed to, and moving on to the next week, which probably would be a tougher real live opponent that they will be facing. So if you're preparing yourself for a good game Friday, we hopefully this could be one and we don't see the glass slip or crack.
Next game we're going to talk about George Washington Carver edges Livingston Collegiate 24-17. That was a Saturday game. So we had to wait that one out and see who Vanderbilt Catholic would get. Carver, big win for the guys and coach over there.
Big win for him. When you talk about these two coaches, Coach Figueroa for Carver and Coach Francois for Livingston, they used to work together. They used to coach together. Okay. So they pretty much they know each other very well. They know what their teams are going to do. And that's why the matchup was so close, to be honest with you. But they've done a great job with their programs. I mean, Coach Francois has gotten Livingston to playoffs the past 4 years, and he's gotten to the second round 2 out of those 4 years. This is Coach Figueroa's first playoff appearance. Carver's first playoff appearance since 2022, and Carver getting a victory, which says a lot of big things to come forward with this Carver program as they defeated Livingston. And I know they got to go to Vanderbilt Catholic next, so we'll see how that goes. But I'll take my hat off to both those coaches because they have done an absolute job at those institutions. One had to win, and it's Coach Figueroa getting his first playoff win as a head coach.
Yeah, congratulations, Coach.
Oh, yeah, Coach Figueroa, class action, classy guy, class act guy, man. And his team deserving of it because sometimes they say your team reflect your coach, man. And them putting it together like they did. I watched them on JB show last year, right, JB? That you had them on?
This year when they played 35.
Yeah, when they played 35, man. And he talked about his players in detail. And that's when you have a good relationship with your players. So kudos to those guys and the Carver Ram family, man, because they really trying to really turn that program around in a major way.
Yeah, I'll echo those same sentiments there. Always tough to face against a person that knows you very well, but that's again the playoffs is all about here. You're gonna have to face against somebody that either knows you very well or that you don't know about that often there. So, shout out to Carver for getting that win, also for continuing their playoff journey there, and tip my cap off to them.
JB, I got two for you that I want you to touch on. Cool.
Okay.
First off, I want you to talk to me about Haynes Academy first win in school history in the playoffs. We
Okay.
want to definitely give our flowers there. And also, Bel Air ends Patrick Taylor's season with a 45-31 victory. Your thoughts on both of those matters?
I'm gonna start off with Haynes Academy. Because I believe I asked this to VK on the show, on our show, the Has It Out show. I said, has Haynes ever won a playoff game? And VK said, I don't think so. And I said, I don't think so either. So I picked him to win this game against Abramson. I thought it'd be a little closer, but it wasn't. But kudos to this senior class, because this is their year. They're going to be remembered as the team that got the first playoff victory in school history. Shout out to Coach PJ Sprunk. And I mean, this is a great guy. I admire this guy for what he has done, not only at Kenner Discovery, but also now at Haynes, a guy that really cares about the kids that play for him. He really, really does. He's a person that cares about people. And credit he and his staff for what they've done at Haynes and making history. So that's big time for Haynes Academy, and they get ready for Archbishop Shaw Friday night. Bel Air, I don't know too much about Bel Air, but Bel Air came down and beat Patrick Taylor. That's what I can tell you. They beat Patrick Taylor. So
pretty good.
Luck to them. What'd you say?
Pretty good.
Yeah, they did. So good luck to them moving forward. But what I can tell you about Patrick Taylor is this was a good team for Patrick Taylor. Good running back in Logan Rogers and Jeremy Gibson. I think they're both seniors. No, Logan Rogers is a junior. Gibson is a senior. So they get Logan Rogers back next year. So hopefully they got a lot of young talent. They're going to bring them back, and hopefully they can build on this and move forward next season to have a better year moving forward. Coach Bourgeois and his staff has done a great job over there, and looking for big things next year from that Patrick Taylor team.
Like that Rogers back, so excited that he's going to get another year.
Yes.
Lamar, first off, let's make sure we acknowledge Haynes before we talk about Bel Air out of Baton Rouge getting the big win over Patrick Taylor.
Yeah, it looks like Haynes Academy. I mean, they have been kind of knocking on the door of recent years. I mean, they kind of been building up this program there, and shout out to Coach Sprunk for doing that there and for getting themselves a big win there. So, and that's what it's all about. Also, you're trying to build up your program so that they can win in times like this. And finally, you chip away at it, and just one week at a time here at this point there. So shout out to Haynes Academy for getting that big win there, and then for Bel Air also going on the road to have to play against Patrick Taylor, and also to getting a win on the road as well. It's not easy to do that, and so that they were able to do that this year. Good points for them as well.
Bel Air riding a 5-game winning streak after a 8-0 loss to Estruma.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Bel Air I wasn't too familiar with Bel Air. I saw them coming in as an 18 seed, and they didn't throw up no red flags for me to really do some investigating of them. We're gonna do a little bit more now. But Patrick Taylor, I saw him on Hash It Out Show Game of the Week, and I thought it was pretty solid. I was shocked when I saw the score, but hey, that's what high school football is all about, is my best 22 versus your best 22. And that proved to be the case that night. And shout out to Coach PJ Sprunk, man. A lot of people don't know I covered Coach PJ for 2 years over there at Kenner Discovery, man. And sometimes you really got to leave home to step up. He's a John Curtis Christian player, accustomed to winning. played a whole season without a weight room and a practice field. They had to have a
Right.
makeshift practice field. So saying that to say this, man, didn't make the playoffs. Finally got in the playoffs and played. I think it was Jennings or Gina, one of them beat the stuffing out of him. But saying that to say this, man, him taking over the program, learning his kids, learning the new kids, and then trying to win games in the process. Week 5 came around, the players bought in, and now we hear that he got his first playoff victory in school history for his team.
When we go and talk about the scores here, Northside Landry, what a game, 27-20. So congratulations to you guys. That was a phenomenal game. Watched it on Saturday.
Thank you.
I watched it on Saturday morning when I got home. To go back to your answer there for you, Nick, Kinder Discovery played Laranger a year ago in the playoffs.
No, I'm talking about when PJ was there.
Yeah, a couple
before
years
they
ago.
made the playoff. Yeah, they wasn't even playoff ready, because they had a JV program, and when they finally had an opportunity,
Kinder Discovery last year.
No, not last year. Yeah, that's what Nick's saying. Not last year. Before.
No. Supposed to be a varsity program to get into the playoff.
You got me. I'm fairly new to this.
Look, trust me. He called me out because he knew my daughter, and he said, "Man, give us some pub." And I said, "I got you, coach. I'll put you on." But anyway,
I don't know them little details over there in y'all end of the world. I paused my game for this show tonight.
There you go.
What you play? What game you playing?
My shirt, man. He talking about shirt.
Oh. Man, I got these on. They bifocals.
We some new ones.
St. Michael beat Laranger 35-12. Oh, I thought I was going somewhere with that Laranger thing, but y'all shit on me. John F. Kennedy beat Frederick A. Dulles 55-0. Leesville beat Kinder Discovery 52-7. We talked about that one, and we talked about the rest. Let's go second round matchups. St. Charles, the 1 seed, Northside, the 17 seed. St. Michael's the 9, E.D. White's the 8, Madison Prep's the 5, John F. Kennedy's the 12, Booker T. Washington Shreveport is the 13, University Lab is the 4, Lake Charles College Prep is the 3, Leesville is the 14, Vanderbilt Catholic is the 6, Carver is the 11, Shaw is the 7, Haynes is the 10, Bear Lair is the 18, Loyola Prep is the 2. We almost had a complete bracket here, but the 17 and 18 move on in their rounds.
Mm-hmm.
JB, any games?
Yeah, man. I mean, I could pick from a few of them on this list, but I'm going to pick one. It's not going to be my alma mater. I'm going to pick Madison Prep and John F. Kennedy. I am excited for this matchup, to be honest with you. Very excited. Look like Kennedy offense maybe finally reached their peak or came close to their peak against Douglas, and Douglas is a very talented team. We know about Madison Prep. John F. Kennedy has a great defense.
Okay.
I think Kennedy will get some stops on Madison Prep. The question for me is, will Kennedy's offense show up and put some points on the board? That is my question, because, we talked about Shaw's offense being down a little bit this year. The same can be said for John F. Kennedy. But there's been some games where their offense has stepped up. Their defense is going to be there. Their defense will be there. If they can get some stops on Madison Prep and their offense can score some points, John F. Kennedy has a shot to win this game.
Right. I think the one I'm looking forward to is going to be Lake Charles Prep and Leesville. And some advice for everybody: take the over, because I think this is going to be a lot of points in that game there. Lake Charles Prep, they're gonna really put it up there a lot. And for this the Leesville team, they've been able to also score a lot of points lately as well. This could be a precursor also for these two teams, because this is going to be a district matchup the next 2 years going forward, with Lake Charles Prep going up to 4A and Leesville being in that Southwest Louisiana district there. So this could be a precursor of things to come. I think this is going to be an exciting game, an explosive game where there's going to be a lot of offense in this ball game there.
That's a district with Iowa and Jennings too.
I think Iowa is going down to 3, and I think Jennings is also staying at 3 as well.
Okay.
So, but Lake Charles Prep is moving up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're basically just swapping Lake Charles and Iowa.
Cool.
Oh yeah. So if it's on me, I'm looking at that St. Michael and Edie White matchup. You know, Edie White been battle tested all year long. They arrived, they coming off their bye. And after the Hornville game, Edie White realized one thing. He said, in order for us to get back to the Superdome, we got to play teams like this, meaning teams that have championship aspiration like themselves. So that's a game that kind of intrigued me for Edie White to play at home, then having their eye looked on next week to play St. Charles Catholic on the road.
Y'all left me with nothing.
Sorry, bro.
I was prepping for St. Michael and Edie White, and then boom, took it.
Well, look, we all got great minds then.
That's it.
That's right.
There you go. That's right.
Because I don't know how to go about this, but I'm gonna spin it a different way. Figured I won't get kicked off the show if I do spin it this way.
What you got, man? What you got?
I want to see two teams and what they do in round number 2. Okay. I want to see University Lab entering the playing field. I want to see their quest to get to the title game after a year ago. What happened? They finally get into the playoffs, and they finally get to go and try to make their run to the Dome. So how will they come out in round 2? Will it be a statement win, vengeance type of night where they say we're here to stay for a while? And I also want to see Shaw. What have they done in the last 2 weeks to get their offense figured out going forward into the playoffs? That's what I want to see this coming week. What?
You ain't the only one.
I want to see University Lab. What kind of mentality they have going in? Because if I know them, it's one of those pissed off mentalities from a year ago. And then Shaw, I want to see if the offense has figured something out these last 2 weeks. Division 1 non-select, guys.
All right.
What everybody wanted to talk about.
All right. And I look at these matchups, and quite a few I can narrow down. Let's start off with. I know it wasn't close, but I do want to talk about it. It wasn't close, but I do want to talk about it. Westgate dominating Airline 49-14. What you got?
Well, number one, a healthy Westgate team at that. That's the most important thing, because they've been hurt these past couple years going into the playoffs, and they get a win in the first round. The second round has been differently, but right now they are healthy, and I think that's the most important thing right now for them moving forward. But with that being said, Westgate, they got talent all around. They are so talented. I mean, so many players just talented, man. Athletes everywhere. Airline, we know about the team last year. Ben Taylor's going at quarterback, new quarterback. We know they got Kenny Darby, but I don't know if they had the weapons that we were accustomed to seeing the past 2 seasons, even with Ben Taylor at quarterback. So I think that maybe that played a factor as well. But Westgate, they hopped on them early and never looked back.
Early pick six in that one really set the tone of the game.
Yeah, you're right.
Lamar?
Yeah, I mean, looking at some of the stats here from that game, Westgate was able to hold Airline to 20, I think 29 or 26 yards passing. And so that really says a lot right there, especially when you have a great receiver like Darby there. And they really held him down, contained him. Only one catch for 17 yards. I mean, that's a big statement there. That's a big statement there for what Westgate was able to do. And they got a good team that was able. And this is another team that's been battle tested so far this season. Um, and so kind of angry at how last year ended, and so now they get a good chance here to right that wrong and go on to the next week here. So hats off again to Westgate because they're gonna have another good one coming up.
A Shreveport defense that Shreveport district that does not play defense, and a Westgate Tiger defense down south that does play defense.
And remember, Westgate were eliminated from Airline last year in the second round.
Yep, perfect 16-17 matchup. I was shocked. I know scores was going to be plentiful, but I didn't think that they had a little defense going to be going on by Westgate either. So Airline, they was known for the first two playoff games last year to put up some points until they met Destrehan. But saying that to say this, man, when you have a matchup like that, all eyes going to be on Ruston next week because they should have a lot of fireworks being shot up out over there in Ruston.
You know, Westgate is not scared of anyone. You know that.
And they travel well.
Yep.
Gotta ask you guys about this next matchup. Terrebonne survives in overtime, but it did not come easy and it did not come without a dramatic finish. When you telling me Natchitoches Central is running the field goal unit on to win the game and the time expires, that is a sick feeling going into overtime. Your thoughts, 27-24 overtime, Terrebonne survives at home, JB.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. Lamar said it last week that he thought Natchitoches Central could come down to Terrebonne and get the win or give him a good ball game. He said it last week. And credit to him because he saw something a lot of people didn't see. A lot of people pretty much thought Terrebonne would have their way with Natchitoches Central, and that did not happen at all. Terrebonne getting the touchdown run with Diggs, Terrence Diggs getting the touchdown run in overtime to get the victory. Natchitoches Central, they opened up the game scoring first. They got it first, and then it went back and forth after that. Going into overtime, Natchitoches Central hit the field goal. Terrebonne gets the ball next. Diggs touchdown, and that's all she wrote in that ball game. But to have a chance to win the game and you can't get your field goal unit on the field in time to kick the field goal at least, that's a heartbreaker, man. That's devastating because you felt as if that game was supposed to be for Natchitoches Central. That's how they felt.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I just want to give a shout out to Coach Brad Laird, who has done an amazing job over there at Natchitoches Central. They kind of caught fire at the end of the year as well, like winning a lot of games here to get themselves a over 500 season. And then also they put themselves into a position where they could play in the playoffs. He has done an amazing job in his second year there. If he can keep things going here, I think Natchitoches Central will be okay going forward here. But yeah, I mean, Natchitoches Central able to play this game here, take it to overtime, go on the road, go on a long trip over there to Terrebonne. Not an easy place to play, and for them to hang in the ball game, I think that definitely does bode well in that one there. Unfortunately, a little controversy to kind of end out the ball game here. Obviously, from what our guy Chris Singleton had mentioned after the ball game there, but they did own up to it
Yeah.
afterwards there. But just keeping it at the game there, an incredible game between both of those teams. I was definitely looking at that game and looking at the scores updating there. Heartbreaking way for Central to lose there, but good win here for Terrebonne there.
Oh yeah, big shout out to Coach Tyler Lewis, man. It's all about deployment. You got to be ready to deploy your special teams out if you're trying to win a football game. We're gonna always have controversy towards close games like that. So if you preparing yourself during the week, you should be ready to push some of those games that people didn't thought you could win into victories. But saying that to say this, man, they had a lot of adversity in that game. Terrebonne had to come back from adversity in that game. So shout out to both teams for having a classic high school football game. It's tragic. It had to be shadowed by a little bit of controversy, but that's playoff football,
Nick,
especially round one.
Nick, let me ask. I'm just gonna say this, Nick.
Say
If
it.
Tyler Lewis would have lost this game, I was gonna say he's cursed. I mean, 3 straight years he lost in the first round. I was gonna say somebody put a curse on him. He can't win a first round game. But I texted him Friday night, congratulating him on the win.
Me
Man.
too.
Yeah.
As we go into our next game, I think we can all agree on this statement. When you get into the playoffs, survive and advance.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you do it, just be playing the next week.
Yeah.
And that's what Terrebonne did. And that's what Ouachita Parish did also. They survived a Santa Maria team that came in 24-21. Ouachita Parish, huge scare at home this week, JB.
Well, we said it to be a knock 'em out, drag 'em out football game between these two. These are two good teams. And the question we said, can Ouachita learn how to finish a game? And this is one that they did. They leaned on their rushing attack. They were able to rush the ball on St. Amar the entire game, pretty much. St. Amar averaged 40 points a game, and Ouachita Parish defense held them to 21. So credit to the defense. MJ Dade for Ouachita Parish carried the ball 32 times for 226 yards. That's big time right there. So when your running game is able to produce like that, you got a great shot of winning any game. So they leaned on their running attack, and it worked for them, and they were able to finish a game, be able to finish. They did it this game. Ouachita Parish moves on.
Yeah, I mean, Ouachita able to get themselves a big win there. And what I liked about the Lions so far this season is they have also been battle tested this season. Those 4 games that they lost in district play, all very close games that they were in the contest with against, especially that Ash game in week 9, where they were just so close to basically winning that ball game, but it just flipped on the other end there. And I think again for what Ouachita's doing here, they're learning how to win. They're learning how to win. This is the first step that they had to take in order for them in that process there. And MJ Dade, 221 yards rushing in that contest. He earned every bit of that. And so this Ouachita team, I can't wait to see what the future has to offer for them here. This game against Destrehan is going to be an amazing game there, but they're in the right direction right now here, and getting games like that definitely proves a lot there.
For me, it was a classic 14-19 matchup. The score really don't indicate how tough the game really was. And when you look at Santa Maria been in the trenches all year. Ouachita Parish been in the trenches all year. And they're going to be a winner. They're going to be a loser, 24-21. excellent game. I saw where a Ouachita Parish team, they putting some confidence in the cup. You know what I'm saying? When you put confidence in your cup, that brings you on to the next round. And then you're gonna play a formidable foe like Destrehan. I feel believe if you can play a half with Destrehan and coach the second half, you gonna have your team with a chance to win.
Let's go to our next one. It's the 11 seed Hahnville, the 22 seed Slidell. A difference in 13 points, but not shy of 90 plus points between both teams in this one. Your thoughts on the 52-39 victory? Hahnville gets it done over Slidell.
Well, Harville put up a lot of points. And they put up a lot early, jumping out to a 24-0 lead, and they led 24-6 at halftime. Slidell, they came roaring back now. Those Tigers, those Green Tigers, they came roaring back in the second half, scoring touchdowns on his first 3 possessions in the first half. But that was the closest they came after scoring those 3 touchdowns, because Harville never looked back. They slammed the door on him. Once Slidell's quarterback Ricky Williams left with an injury, and Ricky Williams is an electric player, but he got hurt, and it went in Harville's favor even more. I think what really sealed it off was when Algero Walker got a pick 6 from Harville, and that was it. Done deal. Harville moving on.
Yeah, same in that one too. Hahnville, a good win there for them against the Slidell team that, like you said, their quarterback has been an incredible performer so far this season. But for Hahnville to come away with the win, that's a good one there too. And great win for them.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit critical because I'm a Tiger. You talk about a 11-22 matchup, no matter who it is, whether it's Hahnville playing Pope John Paul. Saying that to say this, you can't afford to give up 39 points in the playoff game. You pride yourself on playing good defense. Man, defense, in my opinion, always been about leadership. Your defense play like your leadership leads. And it's not that Coach Bourne is not leading them. Coach Scarborough is the defensive coordinator. I know he had little ties to Slidell. But saying that to say there's 39 points in a playoff game, man, that's kind of tough to look forward to moving on to a next week matchup,
Yeah, I hear you, man. Harville, they allowed 129 yards rushing and to Jones, and then 254 yards passing. So you're gonna play a Parkway team that can light it up on the scoreboard as well. Your defense got to step it up big time coming next week.
Okay. Speaking of offense, Bar Bucks didn't shy away from offense on Friday night. They went down to Northwood Shreveport and they went into their stadium. And what Northwood Shreveport likes to do, Barb gave them a little taste of their own medicine and put up 49 on the road. A 26 seed going later smacking it down on the 7 seed. 49-21. Barb just got into the playoffs after winning their final 3 games of the year. Now they're a 26 seed getting ready for a second round matchup. What a story.
Yeah, what a story for Barb. I felt as if they had a great shot to go in there due to their offense and how well their offense has been playing. But, man, this is a big-time win to go up to Shreveport, Northwood Shreve, and get the win. Jordan Griffin, he's going to LSU to play baseball. 260 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. I think you said that was a Barb playoff record, right, Jordan?
Yeah, rushing touchdowns in a game.
Yeah, 6 rushing touchdowns, man. So Barb's offense was able to move and capitalize the entire game against Northwood Shreve. So, man, credit Barb for putting together a good game plan to go up to Northwood Shreve and to even make that game plan effective. with them winning 49-21.
Yeah, I thought with their quarterback, I thought with Barb's quarterback, Jalandon Gray, I thought that was going to be a big reason why that Barb would have a good fighting chance to stay around in the ball game. And little did I know that it was going to be the running back that was going to be the big factor in this ball game. And man, what a time here to have your biggest game there. You get 267, you get 6 touchdowns in a playoff game on the road. That's something there that even if they don't win another game in these playoffs, he'll remember that forever there. So hats off to them there. And look, Barb had kind of had a tough year to start off the season there, but looked like they're just trying to get it going at the right time.
Yeah, big shout out to the Ball Buccaneers, man. Came just in the nick of time. I'm sliding out because my battery is dying on my phone. Saying that to say this, and I'm gonna just sprinkle a little bit salt. I think that's gonna be a classic high school football game next week, and I'm gonna pronounce that I think Ball gonna win in an upset in the 2-part shootout. I mean, a high part shootout, winning by 2. The Ball Buccaneers, perfect matchup for a high school football game. The seeds didn't indicate how good that the Ball Buccaneers could really be, but that's going to be a perfect matchup for next week playing West Monroe.
It's a Barb team. 9 of their 11 weeks this year have scored over 40 points. Twice they've scored over 60. They're going to score some points. And I don't know what's going to happen next week over there at West Monroe. Final one to talk about, 15 seed Thibodaux, 18 seed Mandeville. Skippers get a 48-27 win over the Tigers. Your thoughts, JB?
I knew this would be a tough game for Thibodaux. Because Mandeville is but Thibodaux's been in the playoffs every year. They just can't get over that first round. And Mandeville has experience of winning first round games. And that was pretty much the difference to me. One team having more experience than the other. So it was pretty much an impressive road victory for the Mandeville Skippers, going to Thibodaux and taking care of business. Dominant fashion win, 48-27. But star of the game, freshman quarterback for Mandeville is Crew. His name is Crew Kalora. And yeah, he's had a great season. Freshman quarterback, 18 of 22 passing, 345 yards, 5 touchdowns, rushed for 50 yards, and had a rushing touchdown. So, man, they saw something on film and they exploited it against Thibodaux. So credit Coach Jones and the Skippers on their win. But I'm also going to credit Coach Narcisse and his squad on the season that they've had this year. Great season, and look out for Thibodaux in the future.
Welcome to the playoffs, freshman.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why even when you get up into this classification, everybody's really good at this point here. And this is another case of that there. Mandeville and Thibodaux have been 2 solid teams there. Mandeville has had, some good success recently as well. And it's just one of those games that somebody had to win, somebody had to lose. And it was Mandeville's night there. And so kudos to them for putting up 48 points on the road, having to go down there to Thibodaux for getting the win there. And now, again, playing another week, having to do it again, travel on the road this time, and having to make a little bit of a longer road trip here.
Oh, yeah. Both coaches did an excellent job. One advanced, one had his team having a post meeting this morning. Coach Narcisse did a tremendous job. He played the schedule that he had. He groomed some kids that needed to be groomed. Mandeville went into Thibodeau, a hostile environment, playoff environment, and pulled out a coup. I didn't see 48-21. I thought it would be a little bit closer. Ricardo LeCompte is a Channel 4 news guy. He said he's sending his best team to Thibodeau, and they did so, and they knew something that we didn't know. So shout out to Mandeville Skippers. I'm always talking about them being a bridesmaid, but they putting their slippers on to move on to play the Neville Tigers next week, going way up there.
Some more scores that happened. We had Southside beating Prairieville 52-14. Prairieville's first time in the playoffs, so congratulations for a good season there. Central Baton Rouge, the defending state champs, beat Dutchtown 52-24. East Ascension takes care of West Ouachita 57-17. Zachary beat Salmon 48-15. Parkway beat Covington 51-30. West Monroe beat South Refuge 49-21. We start to look at the matchups in the second round. We go with 1 seed Ruston, 16 seed Westgate. I'm sure a lot of us will have a lot to talk about on our shows this upcoming week about that matchup there. The next one is the 8 seed Southside Sharks and the 9 seed Terrebonne Tigers. Coach Lewis, Coach Curtis, what a ball game we're fixing to see in the trenches there. That one's going to be won in the trenches. 5 seed Central Wildcats welcomes in the 12 seed East Ascension. You talk about a state championship team, and you talk about a staff that was put together to go win a state championship. So a lot of storylines in that one. 13 seed Zachary, Coach Brewerton brings his guys in, no shy of winning state titles. And you have a Denham Springs team led by some really talented twins. The 4 seed, 40-plus seniors. Can Denham Springs get to the big one? They get a championship caliber program in their way here in round 2. Destrehan trying to get back to New Orleans. They welcome in a District 5A opponent from the Monroe District in Ouachita Parish, a 3-14 seed here. Hahnville, 11 seed. Parkway, a 6 seed. You talk about this one right here. Parkway's got a really good offense. Can they stop Hahnville? Can Hahnville not give up 39? Should be intriguing there. Parkway's going to be rocking. 26 seed Barb, 10 seed West Monroe. This one has the makings of a epic shootout. And then the 18 seed Mandeville, the 2 seed Neville. Can the Skippers go to North Louisiana and pull off a big upset win over a red-hot Neville Tiger Ball Club? JB, what you got? What game one you want to talk about?
Well, if I pick this one, Nick can pick the other one. If I pick that one, Nick can pick that one. So I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to pick those Hornville Tigers. Hornville against Parkway. Look, I've said this for many years that the Hornville Tigers football team should always be a football team that gets to the quarterfinals. There's so much talent in that area that goes to that school. It hasn't happened since they played for their last state championship in, I think, was that 2018, Nick, with Puka?
Yes.
2018. They have not been back to the quarterfinals. So they have a shot now to get to the quarterfinals. You go on the other side of Parkway, Coach Corey Brotherton, he has built his program from scratch. He has built the foundation, and now he has a great team that can get to the quarterfinals, maybe the semis. Right now, here's his chance to get to the quarterfinals and make a big statement known that we are here. So I'm expecting a good ball game. Coach Scoble for Hornville, the defensive coordinator, needs to challenge his defense, needs to make a challenge to them to step it up and make plays, and let's get this victory. Because Hornville offense, in my opinion, is going to score on that defense at Parkway. They're going to score points. Hornville defense got to make some plays and make some stops in order to win that game. That's the most intriguing game for me in Division I non-select.
And when you game plan around KB Williams. He's having a fantastic season at the quarterback position for Parkway. Lamar, give us a game.
That is Michaela Williams of LSU. That's her younger brother.
There he is.
Nice. I'm gonna pick a game that neither of the two gentlemen are gonna pick here, and I'm actually gonna pick the Barb West Monroe game here, and this is gonna be an interesting matchup. I think West Monroe with Coach Dizer, good start to the playoff run for them with their win against South Lafourche. Of course, we already talked about Barb and their upset victory there. This could be an interesting matchup here. I mean, could Barb go up to West Monroe and possibly make this thing a quarterfinal run for themselves, or are we going to see a West Monroe team that is trying to get back here and make another quarterfinal run this season? And so I think this is going to be a very intriguing matchup here. Always a tough place to play at West Monroe, but like I said, with Mr. Gray over there at Barb, he definitely gives you a chance to win a ball game. And so, again, West Monroe cannot take them lightly here. And like I say, both of these teams really want to play on Turkey Week here.
Yeah, I'm gonna get shitted on if I say it either way it go. I do like Destrehan. I went to Harmville. I don't care about the rivalry, but I talked with Coach Scott on Monday, and he was excited for his football team possibilities, man. The key to Destrehan being successful against anybody moving forward is health. And I think Destrehan is the healthiest team in Division I non-select right now that's trying to have Superdome aspirations.
I'm going to go with 8 seed Southside Sharks, coached by Coach Jess Curtis, and 9 seed Terrebonne, coached by Coach Lewis. I think this one right here, like I said earlier, is one in the trenches. This is man on man. We know how big Terrebonne is up front. We know what style of football Southside wants to play. Southside, the last couple weeks, I think they're pushing 1,500 yards rushing on the ground. I think Parker Dyes and Southside has a great opportunity to have a big night on the ground. And I think Terrebonne with Bear has an opportunity to have a big night. So it's 2 rushing attacks, but it also goes down to 2 teams that love to run the football. Well, how many possessions do both of these teams get, knowing that game clock is just going to fly?
8:30 is over.
It may very well end at 8:30. So I'm very intrigued to see the total offense in which one of these teams wins that rushing attack battle. I think Terrebonne will throw the ball a little bit more than Southside. I think Southside, if they don't have to throw it at all, they will not. And I think Terrebonne does have a good enough quarterback to have some of those play action plays open up and extend some of them drives. So Terrebonne, Southside, total offense in this one, rushing attack. I'm intrigued to see what our good friend Mike Coppage posts us at the end of the game, because it's going to be a lot of fun if you're a fan of 2 rushing attacks.
Yep.
Last bracket, Division I Select. And we start with the scores from this bracket. Jesuit beat McDonald 35-46-7, so 17 down 16. St. Paul's beat Pineville 56-7. Captain Shreve upset Hammond 61-21 in a 20 versus 13. Rummel shuts out Holy Cross 24-0 in 11 versus 22. St. Thomas More beats Lafayette 41-7. That is some of the scores there. Let's talk about some of the games. We start with Brother Martin beating Liberty 17-16. This Liberty team is going to be really good next year, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to be real, real good. Can't wait. Jimmy Zachary put his stamp on his team early. They had a tough schedule, beat a good Zachary team, and they're going to be good. They're going to be good. Brother Martin wins 17-16. What most people have not seen, and it's somewhere on Instagram and Facebook, less than a minute left, Liberty throws a deep pass.
Yep.
2 Brother Martin defenders tip the pass. The Liberty receiver catches it. He catches it clean, and the ref said incomplete.
Reestablish yourself in bounds.
Yes, yes. Inbounds, falls inbounds with the ball in his hands. The ref says incomplete. I don't know what the ref saw. I'm gonna leave it at that because that could be a difference in the ball game right there, ladies and gentlemen. But Brother Martin goes on to win that game, and now they got a tough one with Alexandria.
Yeah, this is actually very fitting that my guy Levance in the chat right now comes in here at this same time because you already know he's already ready
Yep.
just to kind of see this matchup with Alexandria and everything. But man, a good game. I had my eyes on this one too, just to see who would get a chance to play against Ash. And yeah, Liberty. I mean, the best is yet to come for them. Actually, I think they're going to try to face against Alexandria next year or over the next 2 years in the schedule. So of course that's going to be something to kind of see there. And thought we were going to have a preview of that matchup, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. But hey, you got Brother Martin coming in, Easton Royal. I'm interested in seeing what his stat line for this game was. And I'm pretty sure that he had a big part of this ball game here, especially as their go-to guy there. And man, good game. Just seems like a game that I would have definitely loved to be at there.
You get what you get before Nick goes is you get what everybody wants in the state of Louisiana. They want to see the Monroe District versus the Catholic League District in the playoffs. So here we are in round number 2, Nick.
Yep, exactly, man. They beat up on each other all year when it came down to the bottom 4 of that district. And Brother Martin would be included in that because they didn't beat any of the big 3 that was available for them to take on. But this game would have been real easy for Brother Martin to take on Liberty, but Liberty showed that they belong to, that made it a tough 16-17 game. But, Coach Zagger did an excellent job. And man, I tell you, when you scour in that area for talent, I don't think people are going to be shying away from going to Liberty this year. You know what I'm saying? So just stay tuned for that matchup in the near future, man. And JB, you called it with the running back being who he was, Easton Royal, man. And I tell you, he put a lot of smile on a lot of Crusaders' face Friday night when they got that victory. So kudos to Brother Martin. Let's see how they fare next week against number 5 Ash.
I want to respond to something Lamar said. Eastern Royal, 4 receptions, 68 yards.
Not your best day of work.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that. I mean, I give Liberty a lot of credit to holding them to 68 yards. I mean, it's pretty
4
good.
catches.
Yeah.
We go to the rematch from week 10. Acadiana 29. Carencro 21. Carencro's season ends. Carencro's going down to 4A next year. And who knows when we see this matchup again if they don't meet in the regular season these next 2 years.
Yeah, they need
I don't
to,
know
man.
if they're on. I don't know if they're on the same schedule.
They need to meet each other. It's a big time rivalry. It's a big time rivalry in that area, Acadiana and Carencro. I would love for that rivalry to continue. I mean, it's big time. But what if I tell you Acadiana struggled some early in this game? They struggled, but finally they put the pieces of the puzzle together and able to get going, and they got this win 29-21.
Yeah, that again, I mean, just for Acadiana to kind of hold this Carencro offense, keep them in check a little bit there. Only allowed 21 points here. I mean, this was a Carencro team that obviously had put up a lot of points this season here. And again, to hold them in check here, that says a lot there. And again, looks like Carencro continues to roll right along here. Even after their start of the season here, where
Acadiana.
I guess they were trying to get things figured. Yeah. trying to get things figured out there. And now they're at that point here where they're getting it figured out. They're getting it figured out there. So shout out to the Rams.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, the Rams are rolling now, but they're gonna have to roll a little bit down further to New Orleans to play a piping hot St. Augusta Purple Knights, man. We looked at how the Karen Crow and the Acadiana game went. JB was right; they did start it off kind of slow, but at the end, the Rams, once they start putting it together, they made the stops that they had to make, man. And kudos to them, those Rams and their fans, bro, because they was a part of our chat group in the first 3 weeks that was nervous, man. And they're gonna be a live team this Friday when they play St. Augustine.
Lost the first 3, reeled off the next 8. Acadiana taking the Veer machine down to New Orleans Friday night. We will see what happens when those two clash there. We talked about the Bonneville Riverdale game earlier in the show. So let's go to these round 2 matchups. We start with a rematch. Edna Carr gets Jesuit in a 1-17 matchup. I hate to be that guy, but I'm sure Jesuit would have wanted to see anyone else in this bracket instead of going and play Carr. I think St. Paul's and Evangels has an opportunity to be a game of the night in this bracket. Look at Alexandria and Brother Martin. I think you got 2 good receivers in this one, 5 versus 12. You got Alex Fontenot and you got Easton Royal. So we'll see what happens in that one. Captain Shreve, the 20 seed, comes down to play Catholic of Baton Rouge, the 4 seed. We know Shreve can score. But we know Catholic of Baton Rouge has some guys in that secondary that can play. St. Aug's the 3 seed. Acadiana's the 14 seed. Is it the St. Aug that played Holy Cross? Is it the St. Aug that shut down John Curtis? Should be interesting. 2 weeks off. We'll see that one come this week. And then you got the 11 seed Rumble versus the 6 seed Tioga. This one feels like the seeds should be flipped. You got the 7 seed John Curtis. You got the 10 seed St. Thomas More. This is one of those where a phenomenal coaching matchup, JT Curtis and Coach Hightower. This is one of those where I don't know how many times they played in the past, but I'm happy to see them play here in the bracket because of the coaching matchup. And then 18 seed Bonneville versus the 2 seed Turlings Catholic. We look at Coach Anthony takes his squad into Coach Corville's Turlings Catholic Rebels. So 2 coaches there in their first years going to be playing second round football. JB?
Yes, sir.
Give me a game.
Give me the John Curtis and the St. Thomas More Cougars. Coach Hightower.
Some history, huh?
Yeah. Coach Hightower, Coach JT Curtis, 2 legends in this state of Louisiana, many state championships between the 2. If they played each other before, it's nice. I don't know if they have, though, but I want to say this, though. St. Thomas More, after starting off, I think 0-2, came along a long way. Got better and better and better, but then lost to Turlings in week 9, I believe. Lost to Turlings, so they got their playoff win. Now they come down to play John Curtis. I think it'll be a hell of a ball game, man. I'm very excited for that one. I would love to be there, but won't be able to. But I think that's gonna be a good ball game between STM and John Curtis.
Ooh, man. I think for me, and as much as I would love to say Alexandria, both of the Alexandria schools facing against the Catholic League, I think the game that also intrigues me a lot is going to be St. Aug and Acadiana. Two different styles. St. Aug loves to pass the ball a good bit, and you got a Acadiana with the veer and running the football a lot. And so, which style prevails in this one here? I think St. Aug is going to have their passing game up and ready here, but you can never count out the Rams right now. They've been playing hot. Again, a shame one of these teams has to lose in their second round here because both of these teams have really played some good ball coming up to this point.
Yeah, the game that's intriguing to me is probably going to be one that's going to break the internet with some points being scored. Because Calic of Baton Rouge, they not shying away from scoring on nobody, and I think they want to score plenty points early as possible so they can move on to their second round matchup in the quarterfinals against a red hot team coming out of Ash or Brother Martin.
And I guess that leaves me with the one I thought that could steal the night for game of the night in this bracket. I'm gonna go St. Paul's and Evangel. Is this Pop Houston's game to get ready for the showdown with Edna Core in the quarterfinals? Or does St. Paul's have enough to play keep away, be more physical, play great defense, get a timely stop, and upset Evangel on the road? Does Evangel set up a showdown with Carr, or does St. Paul's have enough to go on the road and win a close one? That's what I'm intrigued by there. Don't get caught looking ahead if you're Evangel, correct?
That's
No,
right.
sir.
Exactly.
St. Paul is a physical attack team. If they get a 2-touchdown lead, it could be a game changer.
So we know we have some great second round matchups. JB, final words as we close out this one tonight.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Number one, any games you're going out to this weekend, be safe, be safe, be safe. That's the main thing. Be safe. Kids, stay close to your parents. Don't leave your parents' side. Got some good games to watch. Under the Lights, game of the week is Iowa taking on Northwest. You can catch that game. What time did your pregame start? I think I put 6:55 or 6:50.
We're going at 6:30.
Okay, 6:30. So when I put the graphic up, they don't mind a 6:50 or 6:55 is 6:30 Under the Lights. We have the Hassel Out Show game of the week. We have Bell Chase against Opelousas. Our pregame will start at 6:45. So make sure you tune into our shows this week. The Hassel Out Show Tuesday and Wednesday. We're going to start at 7 o'clock. Under the Lights, they will be on Wednesday at 8:30. You got the Nick Network Prep Report Thursday morning at 11 o'clock. And Lamar, what about you, my man?
No, well, our radio show unfortunately is off for the season and everything else like that. But hopefully, I should still be able to do a few things here. We'll definitely see what happens here. But I always got this one right here.
Lamar,
right here, yes.
Lamar, you're more than welcome to join us on Wednesday night to make some picks, or you're more than welcome to join us Friday night for the recap show at midnight. Your choice. Either way, you're on the road late.
Gotcha. Absolutely.
No matter what, you're going to be leaving after midnight if you come meet us. So I just wanted to throw that in there. So don't put yourself in jeopardy.
Hey, you hear Lamar on the original around 10:15, 10:20. Oh, yeah. You're calling the original on the radio. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we got that as well. So we can't forget about that too. I guess my final words here for the night is, man, again, we're close to Thanksgiving week. This is a great time of the season. You're gonna have a lot of good football out there. Those teams really wanting to add some turkey with their football. Stay dry. I think that's the other thing about it. I know there's some rain coming for some parts of the state here. So hopefully we don't have any elements affecting the ball games and everything else like that. Stay dry, stay healthy, and just keep
Everybody
on
getting
pushing for your
upset this week
dreams.
because of the rain.
Man, mine is simple. It takes a lot to be a student athlete, number one. It takes a lot to be responsible as a player, number two. But as a coach, it takes a lot of hard work and sacrifice to get your team to that next level. So much hours being put into some of these coaching gigs, and they say that's why they make the big bucks. They don't teach or anything, man. But a fan base want to win. They don't get a ring. They might just get a T-shirt, but they're the one making the most noise. But the fan base that galvanize themselves around the community, around the coach, around the team, gonna find themselves on Padres in December, the second week in December.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that is round one coverage from the boot breakdown. And I mean, I tell you what, we're not going to be this long moving forward because the games will shrink. Right now, going into round number 2, we have 64 matchups next week, boys and girls. And guess what? There will be 8 teams standing when it's all said and done, holding the trophy. Going into round 2, there is 128 that still have an opportunity to raise the title at the end of the season. It only gets better from here. It only gets better from here. Who punches their ticket to Turkey Week after Friday night when it's all said and done? You'll have all 4 of us to break it down for you next Sunday at 6:15 when we're talking quarterfinal matchups and we're talking stunners, statements, upsets, and good old-fashioned storylines from round number 2. For myself, Jordan Taylor, JB the Sports Guy, Lamar Gafford, and Nick Campbell, we say goodbye for now, and we say we'll see you next week for all of our respected shows. Good luck to everyone. Have a great week, and Friday Night Football will be here before you know it.
Yep. Good night, fellas.